Chiclets fans, Biz here. We want you to like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And just maybe, if enough of you subscribe, we'll put out more original content.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 394 of Spittin' Chiclets, presented by Pink Whitney from our friends at New Amsterdam Vodka here in the Barstool Sports podcast family. Gang, we are in the hometown of Frank Sinatra, Hoboken, New Jersey, for our Game 3 live stream in the Gambling Cave. Tampa Bay needed to respond, Biz, and they did with a resounding 6-2 win. We have a series as well as some serious hate we've been waiting for. Let's jump right into the intros. Paul, Biz Nasty, Bizanette to my right. What's up, guy?
Nothing. I had a great weekend. Stopped in Buffalo before I came to NYC. Whit, you'll be happy. Got on the golf course with my financial advisor. Shout out to that guy.
Shout out you for having a financial advisor.
Shout out to that guy for having to field my calls when I see the fucking stock market move 0.0001%. But he brought me to the Country Club of Buffalo, Donald Ross course, and I tell you what, I was piping him. I was hitting my irons good. But that son of a bitch puts bunkers and
the false fronts.
The drop-offs in the back of these greens, dude, it's fucking...
You can't go long.
If you go long, you're fucked, and I was fucked. Even when I was hitting them on the greens, some of the greens, I four-putted about 4 or 5 times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, these things, I know it was a little bit warm in Buffalo, and it hadn't rained much, so they were very, very cement-like. But hey, if I'm hitting my driver good and I'm hitting my irons good, you know it's just one round beforehand for the putter to get going. And I tell you what, buddy, I'm fucking ready for a sandbagger.
And we're doing one in Buffalo. We're not going to say who it's with. We're not going to say where it's at, but we're doing one in Buffalo.
I don't think the Country Club
We should try to
Buffalo's
open that thing up to fans. That would be phenomenal if we could get that public.
Yeah.
Anyone could come watch.
I'll have the guy who was going after Happy Gilmore, a Sabres fan, driving on the fucking 19th or 18th fairway with the Volkswagen Beetle, putting me ass over tea kettle.
Next up,
want to go to Red Lobster?
Shorzy, I believe this is your first in-person sit-down with the Chiclets crew, right?
This is first time here. I'm glad we have a series now. It was fun watching the game with you guys, and excited to be back on.
He texted, did you write Merle's on Twitter? Merle said, I think Shore's in town. I go, what? I text you right away. He said, oh, me and my brother Baker are looking for, by the way, this kid's brother Baker, talk about getting all the good things.
Oh, my God, all of it.
He owns you,
He's probably
Nick.
got a
and
huge
who's your other
hammer,
brother?
too, doesn't he?
Quentin,
this Baker, just a phenomenal-looking Harvard student, just way better shape than you, and he crushes you in golf, I hear, too. So, but I digress.
Has your family gotten a DNA test?
No, he can't play golf, but we do wonder that, because if he takes his shirt off, it does not look how the other 3 of us do.
He looks like he should be in a... what are these like kid TikToker movies nowadays where you get the chiseled guy?
Yeah,
I don't know.
exactly.
G, you help me out here.
I don't know.
He's kind of like a Zac Efron. He's a little Zac Efron-ish.
Bingo. That's what I was going. What was the one with all the wolves in them?
His head is already big enough, but he's still like a few inches shorter than all of us, so we have that going for him.
Yeah, you get the height on him a little bit. You got the height on him a little bit.
Girls don't like short guys.
But I texted him and I said, "Oh, dude, you were in Hoboken. Let's go." And he said, "Oh yeah, we need to find a good place to watch the game." I said, "There's no better place." So it's a great thing you made it over. I'm excited to see you. After the last time you came on, huge success. People loved it. He said, he's like, I forgot a story or two. So we'll get to that a little bit after we talk some hockey.
Are we going to talk about the fact that you went to the U.S. Open this past weekend? Or are we going to wait?
Yeah, we could talk about that now, or we could talk about that at the end. I had the best time ever. I didn't understand. I'd been to the Masters one round the year Sergio won it, but it was the first or second round, I think. That was the best because it was Augusta, but this experience was nuts. The course was impossible. The crowd was great. The golf tournament was sick. I didn't go there Father's Day. I played golf myself that day, but it was such a good experience because you can feel the major vibe. And the Country Club, they did a sick job. The USGA, I had a blast going there. You get pretty crushed at golf tour. Actually, I'm so happy you brought this up. I didn't even tell you this. So, besides maybe, I don't know, Rory, Justin Thomas, a couple others, I was the most famous person on the grounds. I'm not kidding. It was an absolute amazing experience. So many Chiclets listeners, the golf Chiclets crossover, the Barstool thing. It was an unreal time. I was meeting all these people. One guy comes up. Now, this is late Saturday. We've been there since about 10 a.m. It's 8 p.m. Like, the groups are finishing. Hey, Ryan, big fan of the show, blah, blah. I said, oh, great. And then just as I'm, like, kind of, all right, nice seeing you. He's like, yeah, when I was deployed, I listened to you all the time. I was in Afghanistan. I'm like, oh, that's unbelievable. Then I want to take a little bit more time. No offense to you regular Joe schmoes trying to say hello to us. But you meet somebody who served our country. It's like, thank you so much. And he said, actually, dude, I got a crazy story. Couple months ago, if not a year ago, I'm not exactly sure in the time frame. He said, dude, I was driving down the highway and I flipped my truck. Somebody cut me off. I had to get out of the way quick. I flipped my truck 3 times. Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. It ends up upside down. And as I realized, like, holy fuck, I'm alive. Like, what the fuck just happened? I just hear, Shane Doan has the biggest cock I've ever seen. He goes, Biz, I knew the radio was still working. I've been listening to Chiclets, and I just...
That is a fucking...
I was dying laughing. I said, I got to tell that on Chiclets. I would have forgot if you hadn't just brought that up.
Well,
but
not only that, well, first of all, it's an amazing story, the fact that he heard me talking about Shane Doan's huge... Well, he does. I mean, he does. That's a fact. So
just the fact that that's what he heard when he realized he's still alive. But no, it was a sick tournament. Maybe later we can, talk to him.
Well, you brought your kid there, which...
Yeah, I brought him Tuesday to the practice round, and I think I overplayed the hand a little bit because he's 4. And we go golfing. He plays 4 or 5 holes with me. He goes to the range, but... Dude, we started walking, right, and he laid down. He's down. He's like, "This is, Dad, I'm exhausted. I'm so
like
tired.
When the dog won't,
I'm so exhausted."
Move.
This is after I gave him the ice cream and after I gave him the pretzel. So then it's over. And I was like, "Buddy, really?" We'd been there an hour and a half, which is pretty good. Brian Yandle's son Liam came with us, and he goes, "This is a really long tournament." I'm like, "This is the second day. This is a Tuesday. The tournament hasn't started yet." So we got out of there, but it was cool. It was cool.
Merles, what's up?
Happy to be here. Knights of the Round Table here, little hot stove. My weekend a little quieter. I actually watched the movie The Greatest Game or whatever.
Greatest game ever played.
Which is about the amateur to win it actually at that course, the U.S. Open course.
Yeah, he grew up across the street.
Great story, and I was fitting you watch it during the U.S. Open. And that was about it. I had Father's Day alone. I was up in New York for some family business, so... Celebrated alone, it was quiet, but I'm happy to be down here. I'm not happy about my Avs performance tonight. But
by the way, Shorzy, before we got on, said that we weren't recording yet when you said that every time you're upset traveling, you think of Merle's flying from Sweden after a Vegas trip. Yeah. Merle, the amount of travel Merle's does for this, and we can't thank you enough. The guy goes Edmonton, Sweden, back to New York, Sweden to Vegas. So every time we get Merle's in our presence, he's traveling from Europe. So Shorzy thinks of that one.
No, I was hungover flying from Vegas to Boston, and Whit texts me, he goes, "This is Merle's. What was your travel?"
Yeah, I did from Vegas to L.A., 3-hour layover in L.A., then it was 10 hours from L.A. to Stockholm, wait 3 hours, and then a 3.5-hour train home.
Oh, my.
To a very happy wife and 2-year-old child when I've been gone 6 nights in Vegas.
He's got no money left in his account. He's got no voice.
2 broken toes from the big deal.
He got cut from the team.
You know what? Maybe I was a little too hard on you, Merles.
Yeah, speaking of that, I didn't get to rebuttal that. I didn't stop because my toes hurt. I just knew those other guys were better than me. And speaking of which, I actually went out for a few adult beverages Saturday, and I got an offer from a ball hockey C team, the Upstate Stars. So
maybe
you guys
maybe I get sent to the minors. That's how bad it's gotten.
I played in the coast. Nothing to be ashamed of.
Down to the C League.
Chiclets Cup is
right? He played. Oh no, he didn't play real hockey.
Okay, so a couple things.
He played.
Yeah, I played some real games.
Yeah.
After Chiclets
Jesus.
Cup.
Yeah. I was thinking like, he did make.
I didn't need an agent. I wasn't getting paid, so I didn't call you.
The fact that I didn't even remember that he was like in the third. Was it third or second division in Sweden?
It's considered the 4th division.
Either way, you lit it up, Mer.
Yeah,
quickly going to Chiclets Cup, though. Talk to Terry Ryan. He is not at the World Championships in ball hockey, but he has a buddy who's scouting there for our team for Chiclets Cup. And
a Czech guy,
Con Man is on Team Canada. They are playing in the round robin against Team USA, who has Nose Face Killa. So this is, and apparently when these two teams meet on the national stage in the ball hockey world, it gets very, very chippy. With the added blood of the fact Con Man was embarrassed by Nose Face Killer, much like we all were on the Big Deal Selects. They are going at it for the first time. So right now, the World Championships is going on. Where is it going on? Overseas?
I'm not exactly sure, but we haven't even told people because on Wednesday we did a live stream where Nose Face Killer joined and he announced that he's going to be at Chiclets Cup. He's got a new team, but we haven't recorded since then.
No, I think we were talking about it last
How many times has he gotten kicked off his team?
I know he's kind of I don't know. He's a good player, but I don't think he's got a lot of friends, right? So he gets snapped around from team to team. They get their free ring and they're like, that's as much as we could have put up with you. So I don't know. For Team USA, I think you don't really have a choice. He's one of the top dogs, and that just tells you the fact that he's representing his country. He is coming to Chiclets Cup, and in fact, roll our reaction to when you surprised us with him on the live stream.
Someone who wanted to stop in for he wanted to give a little message to Biz and TR here.
Hey, boys.
Fucking God.
Holy shit.
Wow. Oh.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
Nose face in your grill.
You boys weren't ready for that one now, were you?
Not at all, dude. What's up on your mantle? Are those Christmas cards still Nose face?
And
Ryan, what are you sitting on your toilet? Where's your
Vegas, baby.
Oh, that's Vegas, baby.
Oh, wow. And
Rubbing that right in.
even
Coincidental.
better if you want to show this to Lorensky, you know, I mean, game-winning photo. Gotta keep
Buddy,
it on the
how can we
mantle.
argue with this guy, Biz? He talks shit because he wins.
Wow, he's the GOAT, man. He's the hey.
I mean, I was in shock. I don't know who the fuck teed it up. Was it you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That guy, man, his face hit the screen. You asking
again.
You asking about his
Who's Nose Face Killer?
Dude, he's the baddest boy in
bad
ball
man.
hockey.
He's a
just
bad
a
man.
shit-talking, cocky, but, dude, walks the walk after he talks the talk.
Face like a half-chewed caramel.
Yeah. I mean, he's
championships.
not.
I don't even know what that is.
He's not winning any beauty pageants, but he's tucking 4 or 5 a game. He shoots from everywhere. He has a cannon. His stick is 7 feet long, and he's 5'3.5", and he can snipe. So he's been on the winning team in Detroit ball hockey, our first one, and Chiclets Cup in Vegas, and he's coming back for a third. But he gets kicked off every team.
But he does it, and he's like high stepping, playing to the
dude,
camera.
He said to
blowing
us the night we
kisses.
met him in Vegas. We met this dude, and he said,
No, we met him in Detroit.
Yeah, first
and
night.
that's when we met him at the casino, and he was
Running
like,
his mouth to
he had the
Lorensky.
worst flannel button-up I'd ever seen on a human being.
Oh, it's Al Borland's shirt from the recordings of Tim
was
the
it?
Toolman
Okay.
Taylor.
It was August,
Home Improvement.
95 degrees out. He's still wearing a button-down
And
flannel.
he was going at Zach Wierenski fresh off a $9.5 million contract.
So, but I'll tell you, when I saw him and he was saying that, I'm like, okay, I kind of feel bad for this kid. Like, there's no way that this guy's actually good at ball hockey, and it turns out he's one of the best players in the world. So,
That's who he is.
enough about Nose Face Killer. One thing that was mentioned right before we hop on, you, in fact, started your own podcast.
I did. I saw how much money you guys were making. I tried to get on the fucking gravy train.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
How's the merch sales coming?
I'm on episode 3.
What kind of booze you coming out with?
It's on the way. No, I actually called Whit. He was very helpful. He thought I was psychotic for going one-on-one with guests.
I just remember saying that's I couldn't really interview somebody one-on-one. I don't think you've done it. I've never done that.
I enjoy it. You can bring it your own way, and if you're prepared enough, it's fun.
But no, it's been fun. I did my 3rd episode last week. It's called Betting the Limit. It's on Spotify now. And it's focusing on athletes who are retired and are now super successful in different business ventures.
Who have you done so far?
So my first guest was a retired skeleton athlete who's actually releasing a NFT for charity and young athletes this week in New York. That's actually why I'm in New York.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
there's like a big crypto event here,
Yeah,
isn't
big
there?
crypto event.
NFT week.
The second was Dave Carl.
The coach of Denver.
Coach of Denver, who had to retire due to a heart condition. He won the national championship this year, and then
That guy's in his 20s, correct?
he's in
Or
his 30s now.
30s, and then he's already
so he was
won
gonna
a
be
national.
a first-round pick in the NHL. Went to the combine. They found a heart condition. Retired.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
That
I
was
didn't
him.
know that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
him.
So he volunteered while I was going to school. He was a year above me, and now he'll be a coach in the NHL. I would say in 3-4 years probably. And then
Wow. So you weren't at school yet when he got that news, though, about at the
no,
combine?
so I was the next year. So he was going. They honored a scholarship.
Yeah,
and
good
he was
for
still
them.
going.
What an amazing story. Yeah, everyone check that out. Betting the Limit.
Betting the Limit.
I like that.
Thanks, guys.
Good job, buddy.
What are you trying to extract? You're just saying like people like starting their own ventures. Like,
Well, it's just like now that I've seen, like retirement can be tough for guys, regardless of what sport. I never thought I'd be a guy who had a hard time retiring. I always kind of not made fun of, but you hear those stories and you're like, oh, that will never be me. And
yeah, but you're the biggest creature of habit.
yeah, that's what I mean. So I had a tough time, and so it's like now that I've seen that some guys are able to retire and pivot and be super successful at other things, kind of just picking their brains on different things. And the guy I had on last episode started one of the biggest marijuana companies, was a hockey player, started one of the biggest marijuana
Bugsy?
companies.
RA's eyes.
no, not smoke the most. Grew
Run the
most.
company. No, so it's been fun.
Nice.
But the biggest thing though is because you get surprised at such a young age, everybody assumes they're going to play like 15 years and they're going to know 3 years before they do it and how they're going to
Plan
slowly
it.
settle into it. Where I mean, most of the time now, especially because the turnover is so frequent. I mean, I bet you 26, 27 guys are like, well, should I go work for a decent living, or am I going to go play in a jungle type league and make no money? And you can't save anything.
No, and the other thing too is the American League now, from when you guys played, is getting younger and younger.
Way younger.
So it's like you used to be able to. They would hold on. A lot of those teams would hold on to older guys. Now it's basically a development league. So I think guys are.
What's the veteran rule? Have they changed that, or is it still you need to have a certain
if you
amount?
get pubic hair, they kick you out of the league.
No,
I'm serious. No, I'm serious.
First signs of a bush and you're done.
Yeah, but that's how it is now. Some of these kids now, you know what I mean? You get a couple years, and then some teams are just like, okay, this guy either can or can't play. So, I mean, I think that some of those guys have to retire a lot quicker than they originally planned.
Yeah, it's like, oh, he's 24. Let's get him the Metamucil.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're in Russia.
Yeah. Yeah, see ya. What do you got, R.A.?
I was thinking we should dive into the Game 3 tonight, go over that a little bit.
We got to dive into every game.
Yeah, well, probably
Crazy.
the most recent one I think we should jump into. Colorado hadn't lost on the road, 7-0 going into Game 3. No Braden Point for Tampa. And I think we got the goalie matchup some of us might have anticipated. Vasilevsky looked like the Vasilevsky of the regular season early in the playoffs. I think he had, you see here, 37 saves on 39 shots, and Kemper got pulled. 5 goals on 21 shots. They had to bring in Francouz, so 6-2 win by Tampa. A resounding difference from the last game, Biz. Of course, it started out, there was a first goal, Nichushkin. We thought he scored once again. They challenged it. Derek Lalonde, the assistant coach, said, oh, this was offsides. It was offside by about that much. Took the goal down. Landeskog did put him up 1-0, but it didn't matter. Tampa just put it on.
I mean, that was a big swing. Like the fact, so Elliot Friedman on the Canadian broadcast was talking about how typically head coaches get 45 seconds to make the call, to make the challenge. Quite a bit of time had gone by. It looked like they'd even lined up
2 minutes.
Lined up to take the face off. And as soon as they panned to the bench, R.A., I think you mentioned it. You said Lalonde stalling the ref by continuing to ask the same question while Coop was looking down at the monitor. And finally, after about 90 seconds, he says, yes, we're going to challenge it. If they're up 2-0 in the series, I don't think that they get that time there and they go, no, too late and you're gone. The fact that they're down 0-2 and maybe there's just the amount of respect Cooper gets from the league and how they treat the officials and how they always make sure to name them by their first name, he gets that extra time to end up making it. And boys, like that's a big swing there. I don't think you want to call it a weak goal, but definitely not one that's going to help with Vasilevsky's psyche in the fact that he hasn't looked himself so far in the series.
It was a straight knuckle puck.
It was a straight knuckle puck, and I would say, and Whit, you kept harping on the stream, about halfway through the game, you're like, okay, now Vazzy's found his rhythm. He's seeing everything, and every shot, no matter how high quality, he made it look like a big nothing burger. Other than that, I mean, it's just like you said, Tampa came to play. I thought early in the game that Colorado, they were winning those 50-50 battles. They did look like the faster team. But as I mentioned, halfway through, something just clicked. Tampa found their game at home, and let's see how big or let's see how small those arseholes pucker up to in Game 4
if they
here.
win the next one, oh my God.
Next one's big.
So Merle's made a good point too, that because you have a close friend for the Islanders, the video coach is the one that he's back there and he's watching it as quick as possible. Right when the goal happens, he's trying to get to the other cameras, and he knows, all right, this is on me. In the end, I'm making this decision.
Buddy, if you give them a power play already up 1-0, look at, they've been clicking like madmen on that power play.
Yeah, so the time they gave him, I definitely think that is a little bit of just kind of respect. Whereas if I'm Colorado, I'm pissed off. Like, why are they getting a minute 40 to figure this out?
Drop
You
the
need
puck.
to decide.
Drop
but
the
I was
puck.
very shocked. The linesman was standing in the wrong spot. You got to be. I mean, I'm not a ref, but I feel like you got to be right along the line, at least closer. He was almost behind. I think it was Byram, right? So it's like the fact that he wasn't there to call it, and then we saw there was space behind it. It was offsides. People are still saying it wasn't. I think you had enough proof, seeing a little bit of the white behind the blue line.
I didn't
that it was
think
offside.
it was conclusive based on the angles that we saw. And going back to that, as a linesman, I didn't think it was conclusive. Like I didn't see the right angle where I could have said yes, 100% that's over the line. Now some people might tell me I'm fucking crazy. That's nor here nor there. Going back to the official side of it as the linesman, I personally let it play out because you can always go back to video. You never want to blow down a play that in fact wasn't. And that's why I like the fact that they can always rely on the video review. But hey, that was close. I mean, that was a fucking cunt hair.
Yeah,
that was about a cunt hair right there.
So, and the Vasilevsky comments I was making, for anyone, all the Tampa fans who've watched them in this run these 3 years, for anyone watching all these playoff games, you I would think can agree with me that he gets in these modes, and you, like I said, you saw it in the second half of the game. He doesn't even, this sounds stupid, he doesn't even really have to make the save. Everything hits him. And he's in perfect position. He goes down. It hits his shoulder, hits his pad. The 2 saves he made on Confer tonight were so incredible. Those were why he is the best, because he's able to make this 10-bell ridiculous split save twice. It was like the same exact save with the toe of his right skate. But the rest of the time, he's just sitting there in perfect position. Everything just hits him. No rebounds. And if he gets going like that, which Shorzy reminded me, he sucked in the first 2 games against the Rangers too, and they win the next one, it's panic time for Colorado. The issue now is Kucherov at the end of the game possibly being injured.
Big time, but I think we got to go back to last game in the fact that Cooper did not pull Vasilevsky. That was one of the major topics. So let's stick on that. I sent out a tweet after the game before I'd listened to John Cooper's press conference, and my theory was that Vasilevsky wants to get as much information off shooters that he isn't used to seeing. They only played twice in the regular season. He got peppered in game 1, and then obviously in game 2 things were going how they were going. At least give him the extra, period and maybe 5 minutes left in the second to understand and adjust to where the high-end scoring chances are coming from, or he's a Russian snap show, and I don't think Cooper's ever even fucking pulled the guy in playoffs.
Didn't you say you heard something in the press conference?
Yeah, G and I talked about this. He just said he knows he doesn't like to be pulled. He likes to battle through it. But I think a lot of the media is saying, like, oh, he should have pulled him for rest. Like, he's one of, if not the best coach. You can make an argument in the NHL. You don't think he knows what this guy who's led him to all these Stanley Cups wants to do? Like, he obviously knows he wants to stay in the game. You know what I mean? I think that a lot of people have said, too, he's one of the best. His biggest strength as a coach is how he manages his players and stuff like that. So he knew he wanted to stay.
He knows different. There's different egos. There's different attitudes.
Different everything. Yeah. So people saying like, "Oh, he should have pulled him for rest."
You think he would have had his family killed if he would have pulled him?
No, he's just right back. He's playing for Spartak Moscow next year.
KHL contract.
Yeah. No, but I mean, you know what I mean? Like, that's his strength. So I think that I think he knew he wanted to stay and fight through it. Didn't care what the score was, and then you saw how he played tonight. So I mean, I think that. Obviously, I'm happy it's going to be a good series, but that's scary if you're an Avs fan.
I think Merle said, what did you say about he loves the Avs. He's been on the Avs the entire time. But
I played 4 exhibition games.
Yeah, right. You're the real number 29. You're the real one. But he did say, even he said, as the game was winding down, so yeah, the Lightning do look pretty good. Like he's putting the thing, what is the word? He's putting the idea out there that he's gonna bet him game 4.
Yeah. Well, he took his jersey off.
Yeah, he
took his jersey off. He had a early jersey on.
I can't spit out the sentence.
Yeah,
the guy had his Swedish shirt on.
Then it was EBR.
Show the EBR shirt.
Yeah, just trying to promote the merch. He gets it. He gets it.
So Merle's already realizes that. I don't know.
Yeah, we're in a series
when
now.
Tampa figures it out and looks that way. Now the Kucherov injury. We can go back because they got the power play. They're up 6-2, and we see that the top units out there. It's the Perry, Kucherov, Hedman's up top with, is it Palat as well, and Stammer? And I kind of said, or I don't know which one of us said, like, all right, well, should you have them out there? And right away we were told by RA that when it was 6-0 in Denver, they had their number 1 unit out there looking to get the 7th. That shows right then, you see something like that, if you get the chance, you're going to do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Shorzy said that, like, well, why wouldn't you have him out there anyways? Because you could get injured at any time. You're more likely to get injured on a 5-on-5 play than 5-on-4. But to see him actually go down, you're just immediately kind of thinking, what is he doing out there? But it's also us questioning the best coach in the game right now.
Yeah, but that's why we have a podcast. We do that to question the real professionals.
But then he did get hurt on that, and then they called another penalty, and they put him back out again. They still didn't learn their lesson, and then he really pulled it on the one-timer on the 5-on-3.
Yeah, that's when he like really noticed he was hurt going back to real gameplay. What do you think of it?
I mean, I think it's easy to say because he got hurt, but like I said, I think his chances of getting hurt on a 5-on-5 shift are greater. So what are you going to do, just not play him the rest of the game?
No, you're going to sit him on the bench. Shut the fuck down!
And Colorado's up 6-2, so why would they put their number one unit out? And they did when you're not going to get 4 in the last 5 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, let Drew Short play his couple minutes. I'm all for that.
Give him the original 29 on the Avs. Give him Merle can get a point and get sent down. I'll fight home. Merle's had 7 points in 2 exhibition games, still got sent down first.
What did you guys make of Francois play in relief for Darcy Kemper? I imagine they go back to Kemper. So completely different relationship where it's more of like just give him the mental rest, get him out of there, hit the reset button. There's no way they're going to Francois, right?
No, I think you have to go back to your starter. Because I think if you don't, I don't know what they'll do, and I'm not a goalie expert by any means, but I think if you don't, it sends a message of we don't have a starter. That's my opinion.
And Kemper won the first 2 games. Like it's tough to, but he has a short leash in Game 4, I bet, because some of the goals he let in tonight were brutal.
Not very good. They were not very good, Ari.
Tampa Bay needs to stop committing penalties. Colorado 5 for 11 on the power play so far. 2 for 2 tonight. They only got the 2 goals on the power play. Also, shout out to Corey Perry, first player ever to score a goal for 4 different teams in the Stanley Cup final. And the third period, relatively boring until the end, until we got Ross Colton versus Logan O'Connor. That was a pretty damn good scrap for a couple of guys who might not have been expecting a scrap from as well.
Chucking bombs.
It looked like they didn't even know at the beginning if they were going to go. Exactly, maybe Colton didn't, and then he got hit with a couple, but then came back with a hard right. That was a good fight.
You mentioned something about Colorado's power play and the fact that if they stay over 30%, they'd be of only one of 2 teams to ever do that in the Stanley Cup.
It'll be if they stay over 30% for the players, one of 4 teams to have a PP percentage over 30% for an entire playoff. So I think minimum 15 games. So
that just alludes to stay out of the fucking penalty box.
Absolutely.
Another one. Did you see that Stammer was at so far season and playoffs? He's had 24 one-timer goals.
Yeah,
just getting fed on that off wing. He has not lost a step when it comes to that shot.
Kids at home, you're listening. One-timers, practice your one-timer. Any chance you get one-time it, even the Nikushin goal, doesn't have to be hard, but it's a one-timer. The guys can't get ready to get their stick on puck. They can't block it. The goalie can't get set. All you junior kids, I know you're listening.
Fucking Don. That's the Don Cherry advice of the podcast.
Also, teams with a 2-0 lead when starting at home, .925 winning percentage in Stanley Cup history, but in teams that take a 2-1 lead win roughly 70% of the time. So the number's still in Colorado's favor, but obviously a lot of puck to go and pivotal Game 4 we got next on tap Wednesday night.
Yeah, I can't really point anybody out for Colorado who played horrible other than the fact that there was just a few breakdowns and a few soft goals. I mean, they'll get right back at it. McCarr was still doing his thing out there.
McKinnon a little quiet. He's been a little quiet.
Yeah.
For him, he's a guy that
he's got to come back and have a statement game now. So a couple things that we talked about as well. Braden Point. It seems like maybe Tampa's just dangling the carrot on him. Or with him, excuse me.
I took it as if he's not playing tonight, he might have tried to come back for this series and he just doesn't have it.
Whereas
and he might not see him again, possibly.
Whereas Kadri, it's like, we're up 2-0 right now. He's been skating 4 or 5 days in a row, somebody said. Let's see if we could get the job done without him in Game 3. Do you think he's coming back Game 4?
I think from what we heard pre-series that he could play in the series, it looked like, and it'd be in the middle of the series, and you lose Game 3, you get the day off. It's like, I think we do see him. Only because he's been skating, right? If he skated once or twice and we didn't see him again, it's one thing, but it seems like he's out there. The only thing being, like, he had thumb surgery, right? So it was a hand surgery, whatever it is.
Thumb? Yeah, it was thumb surgery. So that's why I don't know, because
that's hard.
If you have thumb surgery, he's skating every day to stay in shape, even if there's 0%, even if there's 5% chance.
Or to send the mind torpedo back to Tampa for the point torpedo.
Right, so I have no idea, but I just think that coming off that surgery for him to play would be pretty impressive.
Well, Cogliano's he had the injury, and he's in the mix the whole game. He was like in the middle of Sergachev, Maroon, so you could tell that's what I meant. Not only was it the power play being out at the end of the game for Tampa, there was hatred throughout the game. It felt like the series really began because there was some serious scrums, the fight like we mentioned, a lot of shit talk.
I think there was carryover from the fact they were pouring it on and still scoring power play goals with the top unit at the end of that game too. There was pile-ups at the end of that game, and that's when the hate started brewing a lot. And that's all the motivated Tampa needed. It was another slugfest at the end of the game. And even in the first period, you saw Stamkos and Makar bump into each other, and you saw Stammer try to give him the cold shoulder. There is some bad fucking blood out there, and it's just that the fact that you have two teams who want it that bad. I think Game 4 is going to be fucking nuts. I think that we are just getting started.
I think Game 4 is going to be sick, and I mean, whether it be Stamkos, a guy like Zach Bogosian, Ryan McDonough, all these veteran leaders who have been through so much with Tampa, I would be surprised if one of them wasn't saying before tonight, like, they fucking embarrassed us. Like, how proud of a team are we? Like, we're coming back home. Like, we just got, this doesn't happen to us. And then you saw tonight, it was a wagon fest.
And one of the dirtier plays, and probably what got everything ignited, was Corey Perry.
Oh, yeah, sitting on Confer?
He was sitting on Confer a little bit long, and then on his way up, he made sure he put all the pressure on his ankle and then pushed up and got off his ankle. Avs fans were losing their fucking minds on social media. Hey, maybe that's Corey Perry's response for the fact that a bar downtown Denver used a Tampa Bay Lightning jersey as a doormat at the door.
Yeah, wipe your feet, right?
Wipe your feet. Now that is
dirtbag.
You don't want to be giving that team any bulletin board material.
That's your piece of shit.
What kind of bar is that down there?
I mean, I don't think Corey Perry's looking at what bars in Denver are putting
no
on.
Shit, dude. I'm fucking segueing it like a pro, bro. Learn it for your fucking podcast.
But I will say, I think that I'm just so happy because, like, if it would have been 3-0, I think the Avs honestly take game. I'm just so happy.
Oh, me too. We got a series.
That we have a series.
Yep.
We have a great series. The ending of it, like I said, obviously was good. These teams obviously hate each other. So I'm just happy. I'm flying home for Game 5, and I have other friends coming to Game 5. So people were texting me after Game 2, like, is there even going to be a Game 5? So I'm just excited we have a good series.
Nice. By the way, I didn't mention I had no idea there was the 2 days in between Game 1 and 2. I planned my whole Friday for the game. 7:30, I go to turn on ABC. I'm like, wait, no game. Well, I already had tickets, but I had tickets to Saturday at the Open. I said, oh no, I'm going to be wrecked when this game starts Saturday.
Send out 2 fucking texts and you got it fixed. Pray for Whit.
I changed the game time.
Did you actually think that I thought that Corey Perry was looking at fucking social media, watching that nonsense that you're pulling off in your dirtbag?
I don't know. I mean, you said he seemed pretty concerned about it, so I don't know. He looks serious.
I mean, there could be a lot of listeners that thought Biz was serious.
I know.
Right
That's what I mean. I had to set him
straight.
Thank
you for clearing the air.
All right, gang, we're down New York City, which is like a sauna in the summertime, Biz. We know that. So we like to cool down with some of that 5 times distilled vodka infused with fresh pink lemonade flavor. You know, what's it called, Merles?
Pink Whitney.
Pink Whitney.
Pink Whitney. So grab some at your local liquor store or belly up to your favorite bar. Take it as a chilled shot or the way I like it, with some club soda. Either way, enjoy some of that fine Pink Whitney.
And I'm doing a Pink Whitney Canadian tour starting in August. I'm going to be hitting up some towns, but we're not going to say what towns just quite yet, Mr. Shore. But stay tuned. And, of course, on the social media, mainly Instagram, Grinelli, tell them what they're doing every Wednesday all summer long.
Every Wednesday, we're giving away these merch packages, these prize packages. All you have to do is follow the Pink Whitney Instagram, comment on the post, and
you can win a Pink Whitney package.
Do you need anybody to carry your suitcase on that Pink Whitney tour?
Merles is gonna take another plane, train, and automobile to
Merles
come.
is gonna put the sunscreen on you like the end of Dumb and Dumber. No,
yeah, I'll pay for your divorce papers, buddy. I'll pay for your attorney.
Another topic.
Call Saul.
We were talking about Valerie Nichushkin. He's got, let's see,
what a player.
13 points in 17 games. Had an outstanding season. $2.5 million he's making this year. Last year of his deal. What kind of raise is he looking at?
So he's a piece. He's not a major piece. You can't give a guy like that like a 7x7.
Yeah, some GM
I think
might.
Yeah.
If he has a good agent.
Coyotes. 7x10.
Depends who represents him.
I think he's the type of guy who would probably stick around for a 5x5. I don't think you're going to be able to keep Kadri. Somebody mentioned that when we were doing the stream. I think it was Mr. Granelli, obviously. But I think he's like a 5x5. He's a great
he's fast
middle
as
6
shit.
guy. He's fast as shit. He's
So when
big...
was the year he didn't score?
Everybody's talking about the year he didn't
That's
score.
crazy, though. It's not about
19, 0 goals in 58 games.
He didn't
But then he started off the next year not scoring in like
he didn't want to be there.
goals either.
He didn't want to be there.
I know, but it's still that could like kind of not ruin a guy's
He'll
career.
go back to KHL. He didn't
14,
give a fuck.
15, he had no goals.
When you skate as well as he does, though, that's the thing. It's like we gotta give. He's enormous. He's got skill, and he flies. So it's like he's gonna get a chance. And now that he was able to produce, I think he had over 50 points this year, right, Mer?
Yeah, he had 25 goals in 62 games, 52 points.
I mean, so yeah, that's looking.
27 years old.
I wonder if you would take 5 times 5. Could Colorado afford that? They want to keep him though. Why wouldn't you?
But it's crazy a 25 goal scorer went a full season without scoring.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? Like it's
exactly.
Nuts. I was just gonna ask, like, how do you do that?
Well,
How
shut
do
it
you-
down.
He is
You
on the best
completely
team.
shut it down. Russians can do that.
You make borscht and you sit around and you eat it and you watch Russian TV shows.
You
and
go
don't
full
score.
Kostitsyn. That's what you go full Kostitsyn.
And that game, too, Cale Makar, just the second defenseman ever to score a shorty and a power play goal in a Stanley Cup game. Glenn Wesley did it back in '88 in that suspended game. He also beat Rob Blake's record for most goals by a Colorado franchise defenseman in the postseason. Also, this is an interesting stat. No team has ever won the Cup after trailing 2-0 in the semis and in the Stanley Cup final.
Oh, I don't like that as a Lightning guy.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be, if any team could do it, I guess it'd be them. But that does show, to win 4 out of 5 against teams once you get this high into the playoffs or this long into the playoffs, that's a grind. If they can do it again, I mean, I can't imagine the heartbreak for Avs fans if they lose 4 of the next 5. But it could be one of those winner of Game 4 wins the series type things. Remember we said that with the Rangers and the Lightning, because if Vazzy gets going, that's the panic.
Hey,
for the Avs.
Charles Barkley, very good luck for the Lightning. 1 for 1 in the building. I guess he texted Gary Bettman in the afternoon for tickets, and Gary hooked them up. So unfortunately, that goes into players' escrow. So we're right back to 20%. And with you
Chuck
fucking
got
agents
28
being
tickets.
paid, what is that? What are guys pulling home?
agents?
Yeah.
Well, it just depends on the level of service that players get.
Oh,
Is it still
do they have to
culture
pay, do they have to pay for the
3 to 5%?
producer of your podcast? They just got bumped up 1%.
They should be, yeah.
Also, one other thing, the Avs started off the playoffs 14-2. All of the 4 teams to start off with that record went on to win the Cup. 81 Isles, 87 and 88 Oilers, and the 2012 Kings were the last team to do it. 88 Oilers went 16-2 in the playoffs. That's the best the team's ever done. Game 1, it was a pretty decent game. Actually, it was a real good game. Tampa Bay was down 3-1, tied it up, went to OT. You guys, I don't know if you have any thoughts you want to share.
I
It
was
a
so
while ago.
surprised at the call to put them up 5-on-3.
Oh,
I thought that
horseshit.
was awful.
It was Sorelli on Makar.
Yeah.
And he swung his stick around.
Hit his shin pad.
That was at the trip at the blue line?
Yeah, well, they're already up a
Yeah.
man. Tampa's already on the PK, and I guess if you looked at it quick, it looked like he could have flung his stick and it tripped him, but it didn't at all. It hit his shin pad, and he kind of stepped on his own feet a little bit, or did he step on Sorelli's feet? Either way, you saw by the replay that he didn't deserve 2 minutes there when you're already on the PK. And of course, the Avs scored on that ensuing 5-on-3.
I don't
he
think
went
I've seen
crazy.
Coop lose it that much ever. I don't think I've ever seen him snap that hard. He popped a blood vessel on
Popped
his
the
forehead.
vessel. Yeah, well, I mean,
What?
No, like some people
Too
get
high.
mad at this. Like they're like the game should be called the game, but I'm still kind of like, I don't know what the word would be, like old school. Like if you're shorthanded in the playoffs, you should have to literally like two-hand someone,
Chop a guy's head off.
Where
off.
it's so obvious.
So obvious, and like so I think that like that should have just, you know what I mean?
Prison
Yeah, and it
rules.
wasn't
But
even-
then there's
Prison
other people who are, yeah,
rules.
exactly. Other people are like, oh, it's a penalty. Like, yeah, sure, in the regular season, if it's 5-on-5, sure, call it. But I
in
don't
the
think
finals.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I hear you.
What an amazing comeback for Tampa in that first game, because, I mean, Vasilevsky led in 2 weak ones early, and then he kind of settled in a little bit, and then all of a sudden they were able to get going. But the other interesting part of the game was Maroon got the penalty for flicking the puck over the glass. He came out of the box. He almost scored. He had a great chance to score there. If Tampa were happen to get Game 1, it's just such a different story. I mean, the fact that the Game 2 went the way it did, I never saw that coming because of how good Tampa was in the second half of Game 1. I didn't think they'd come out and lay that egg. I thought Vazzy was in the mode that I now believe he's in, so maybe I shouldn't be that confident before Game 4.
Sicko mode?
Sicko mode.
What a track.
Let's see. Biz, Game 1 averaged 4.2 million viewers, even without you on the TV. It jumped from 161% from last year. So
No way.
Yeah, the numbers were fantastic.
It was on ABC too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, you got that, the ratings with you and TNT. I mean, people are watching hockey more than they were last year. I know we bitched about all the streaming and ESPN Plus issues, but it's nice to see these ratings come in. It's nice to see people watching what's going on.
Yeah, I think that, like, America has taken liking to dynasties and probably from...
I think America hates... I don't know. I think it's interesting, but
I
you
think
end up hating the team that wins that much.
they end up either becoming obsessed with the team who is winning the dynasty and putting on the show, or being obsessed with watching them being taken down. I mean, I think you saw it with the Golden State Warriors. I mean, how many people were probably rooting for Boston for that reason? So I don't really know where I was going with that, but...
But it's like, are you rooting for history, or are you rooting, like, just,
yeah.
you know, because I remember
the ratings.
when Michael
the
Jordan
ratings.
played, I mean, I remember rooting against the Bulls because it's like you just get sick. I mean, as good as he is, you just want to see a new champion out there. A lot of
and I
times.
think that, like, you genuinely have two teams that are very exciting to watch. Like Colorado, from like just being a fan of sport, you could tell they have special players and they move a certain way where you're like, oh my God, something's like usually happening. It's not watching the fucking Dallas Stars in the finals or the Montreal Canadiens where it's just like, oh my God, what the fuck is this?
What do you think is better for the league? Like a team that you can talk about 30 years from now being like, oh my God, we saw this dynasty, the Lightning, or thinking about right now and it's like, we need a new champion.
I think the league would like the Avs to win this.
I think it would have been disappointed to see the Avs sweep Tampa. I want to see a team have to bring the champs that, I mean, listen, Tampa wins next game, it's like they put up a fight and what they've been able to accomplish. They beat a fucking hell of a Toronto team. Like, Toronto took them to the brink. Then they end up fucking sweeping the President's Trophy.
Oh, the Cats are a joke.
I mean, most of us even forget about that fucking series. And then look what they did last series by coming back down 2-0. You thought they would have been the tired team in the last 4 games. It was fucking New York. Like, this is like, we're witnessing, like, that's major history for nowadays standards, insane.
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny how the narrative changed. Like, after Game 2, people are like, oh, they're so tired.
No, we printed
so
the shirts.
done.
So, we were working on shirt designs.
Saying
for
what?
Colorado.
And
he had
a shirt idea with
you
the
know what I
broom
mean?
on
So
it.
it's like they were so tired, they're done, and now it's like, well, they're the champs. Of course they weren't going to get swept. Now they're back. We have a series.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Oh, yeah, I'm pushing all. I mean, we got this fucking guy taking his jersey off. For
Yeah, exactly.
crying out loud. He's getting
I'm
in
here
his
to make money.
feelings.
I need diaper money.
Well, regardless of who wins the Stanley Cup, it will not be making any trips to Russia or Belarus, like traditionally. Bill Daly said, we made both clubs aware already with respect to this summer. The Cup is not going to Russia or Belarus.
Who's a Belarusian?
We may owe a cup trip. We may owe a cup trip in the future, just like we did with the pandemic, but it's not happening this summer. Honestly, I'm not even sure who is, but
Natushkin's got to be
I don't
Russian.
know. Yeah,
Natushkin's Russian.
Natushkin's Russian, and then the 3 Russians from
Vasilevsky.
Well, guys might
maybe Burakovsky. No, he's Swedish.
guys might have been born when
We're
it was
all
still
over
Russia,
the place
though.
right now. We're just yelling into the mic, all of us.
But I don't know who's
There's no
Belarusian.
Belarusians. Want me to tell you the Russians?
Well, yeah, I mean,
Vasilevsky, Kucherov.
But were they born like, remember, it
Sergachev.
was still the CCCP or USSR maybe back then, so now they're considered Belarusian, you know what I'm saying? They could be a Belarusian
No
descent.
idea.
I don't figure you did, but either way, Biz, you know what? Summer days are long, so don't spend it having short sex. Roman swipes are the secret to longer-lasting sex. Roman swipes are uniquely formulated to reduce overstimulation without eliminating sensation altogether. Trust me, folks, these things work, or so I heard. The more consistent you are with the swipes, Biz, the longer and better your sex will be. Studies show that, on average, after 1 month of using swipes, men last 3 minutes, and after the second month, 5.5 minutes. Might not sound like a lot, but it is if it's you.
It's a lot,
That's a
yeah.
340% increase, guys.
might try
So
it.
the swipes are super easy to use. You take out the swipe, apply it, let it dry for 5 minutes, and you enjoy longer-lasting sex. Go to GetRoman.com/Chiclets to get your first month of swipes for just $5 when you choose a monthly plan. Biz, have you ever heard of any trophy detours like this, like not allowing a trophy to go somewhere? And if you were a commissioner, what kind of places would you buy a trophy from? Not countries, just like, I don't know, anything in general.
Well, I mean, a lot of these other trophies from other leagues suck. Like, you can't, if you got to be able to drink out of it. That's the dumbest thing ever to have one of those. I mean,
the
the
Chiclets
MLB one is a fucking sideshow joke.
MLB one. That's why Costanza was dragging around the parking lot in Seinfeld. That trophy stinks with all the flags. The cup is just dummies everything. You even saw that idiot LeBron. I think there was a clip of him seeing it the other day. You could tell he was even blown away at the size of it. I think that the trophy, the having the trophy for a day in the NHL one of the coolest things about winning the Stanley Cup. Does anyone else even do that? Would they even want to because of the shape of the other ones? Some of these golfers, actually, the U.S. Open trophy was pretty legit. The Claret Jug's a great one for the British Open. And I think you probably get to keep that for a year.
But no, I mean, other than maybe the decision they just made, I mean, I can understand why it's not going there. But no, I don't have anything going on in the other countries.
Putin would steal the thing
I mean,
now.
maybe not. I mean, given with the live golf situation, I guess I'd have to say, what, Dubai? Where are they from, those guys?
Saudi Arabia.
Oh, Saudi Arabia.
That's Saudi.
Sorry. That's where the hookers go, Dubai. Get confused there. That's where the Instagram thoughts go to really get paid the bag. To suck on the weens.
You're gonna fucking roll tonight,
To
buddy.
suck on the weens. They got the snake music going.
Aladdin getting blown.
How's that King Cobra? All right, we got a little more coaching carousel biz.
Oh my God, this coaching! I can't even. We should have our own fucking separate.
Why is Trotz not working? Is he really going to Winnipeg?
I think he's taking a year off. To be honest with you, yeah.
Is he from Winnipeg?
He's from a couple hours outside of
Guys,
Winnipeg.
I have an announcement.
That would be the only.
I have an
reason.
announcement. We've actually
hired him for the
Chiclets Cup. He's gonna coach the Big Deal Selects.
Yeah, they said he turned down upwards of $7 million from the Flyers. Trotz did, and of course they mixed the letters.
A year?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here!
Crossing Broad, their well-known Flyers blog reported that Barry Trotz turned Philly down in more than $7 million per year before the team moved on to Torts. They went from Trotz to Torts, and they brought in Torts. And our buddy Weeks, he said his deal, Tortorella's, is in the neighborhood of 4 years times $4 million. He gave his press conference. Obviously, he's there to change the culture. He wants the team to be hard. He wants them to get some skin biz.
Hard.
Wicked
and
hard.
Dubinsky tweeted, "Pray for the Flyers."
Yeah, there's been a lot of people trying. I mean, nobody's shy about saying that the training camps are ridiculous. Although I think that they've probably been toned back since his
there was
early
probably
days.
like hospital visits for players.
He was borderline KHL at one point. Like North American wise, I don't think many people had seen anything like it from an NHL standard, and that's probably after the 04 lockout. Remember that rule kicked in where you couldn't be at the rink longer.
Yes,
than
3 hour rule, but it never
rule.
was. It was never like legit.
It wasn't for guys like us.
No.
Well, we
like
weren't
Mario
holding
would
it
be
up.
like, yeah, I'm done, but I would be like, I'll keep shooting pucks.
Imagine saying like, Terry and I got. It's 3 hours.
I think we did try to say that to him one
time.
time.
So that would mean between Vigneault and Trotz, if that is the case, they'd be paying coaches $12 million because Vigneault's making $5 million, I think, this year, maybe one more after this. He signed a 5 times 5.
I thought it was 5 times 5. Yeah.
So they were offering Trotz $7 million. Listen, guys, I think Trotz is an exceptional coach, and I think that he's the type of guy who can change a culture around. But
Torts or Trotz or both?
Well, I was saying Trotz as far as the fact that he was offered $7 million. I think it's fucking ludicrous to offer an NHL coach, given that most teams are playing the same systems, most teams are making the same adjustments, and I'd say half the coaches in the league understand where and when they need to make the adjustments. Right? Am I going crazy here? It's all about the personnel that you have.
Yeah, but if you're willing to spend money, you have all this money, and this Flyers, they want to be good quick. You got to go after the best coach in the market, and this guy. I mean, like, he won Washington the Cup. They could never do it. They did it. He didn't win them the Cup, but he was there when it happened. And then he goes to the Islanders, and this team who'd been shit for quite some time turns into the best defensive team in hockey. So for the Flyers to have all this dough,
they have a pretty good team. They have a pretty good team with a lot of good players.
Yeah, and it's like, all right, we need to win, and so. What do they care if it's $4 million or $7 million? Really, I mean,
it's Comcast money too.
If it's Comcast money, everyone's paying $900 a month to have Comcast. My Comcast bill is through the roof. I don't even understand. It's all like movies, I guess I'm ordering. And
Moana.
And so Moana for the 9,000th time. What a movie though, Maui the Demigod.
I've seen that one.
Encanto, yeah, that's a
Those
real
Pixar
good one.
movies like are crack.
No, but
They get you
during
something.
COVID too, you couldn't even buy them. You just had to rent them. It was like nothing was going on. COVID, $25 every night.
Oh, Cars! I've watched Cars about 4,000 times.
That's why The Rock's
Disney
a billionaire,
Plus.
because you're paying fucking $25 a night for his Pixar movie. He's got the.
Sometimes that's worth every dollar for a little peace and quiet
shut your
at
kid
the
up?
house. Not to shut her up, but
No,
just
shut
a little
up.
piece of quiet.
Just to
chill
relax
out.
for a minute.
So, Flyers had the fourth worst record last year. They allowed 3.5 29 goals per game, which is the 6th worst, and 34 shots per game, which is the 4th worst. What kind of turnaround should Flyers fans expect with Torts?
Well, it also depends on what happens this summer with free agency because also you need Ellis back. So if Ellis can come back, that was a big part of what they thought their team was going to look like. And he never got to play. So that along with if you can sign some people. Now, Johnny Gaudreau's been kind of linked to there, being from around the area. Kevin Hayes and him are so close. Like I don't know. Like Torts has a reputation of being hard to play
so
for.
Does Sutter, though.
Yeah, but Johnny didn't choose as if his one time as a UFA to sign for Sutter. It's like so I don't know. Maybe he's believes in the team and doesn't really care that Torts might be hard on him and he wants to sign there. But the Flyers, they'll be better, I think. But it's hard for me to say before they go out and spend this dough they have available.
True that.
They did sign a new goalie from the KHL, Fedotov. He's 6'7", 6'8". He was the CSK goalie, won the championship. He was their Olympic goalie. So he's going to give your boy
Got a hat.
Well, then, they need some help. I mean,
so
who knows
that's, you're talking about their goals against. They are bringing in some help there.
So the one knock on Carter Hart and his his numbers are the fact that Flyers didn't really have good structure and they would give up a lot of high quality scoring chances and he got lit up as a result of it. Well, if there's one thing Torts is going to fix, it's going to fix the goals against average. He's going to fine-tune that team to make them a defensive juggernaut, and they're going to bore teams to death, but they're not going to get fucking lit up like they were the last couple of years. So we're going to find out what that kid's made of, and then you're saying this other guy might come and just take the job.
Yep. Yeah, Torts, he's going to have everybody blocking the shots and stuff, but this kid's a giant, this Russian guy, and
interesting.
It's going to be
Carter Hart's
making him a fucking
Wasserman.
Oh,
sorry.
I
personally think that you could put any goal. Like they had a rough year. I think like he said, like
didn't he turn down 6 times?
Typical fucking agent here.
No, I'm just saying. No, I'm just saying they were a very bad defensive team. So I think a lot of you can see around the league goalies is the team that you have in front of you.
Yeah, that's it's tough.
You know what
to
I mean?
I
think with Torts, obviously, as a guy who preaches defensive style, but guys blocking shots like that, I think he would be a guy. If I was a goalie, like I said, I know nothing about the position. I would like to have because I think he's going to get guys to buy in defensively.
And it's hard for me to believe that he's not going to be a very good goalie after what you saw at such a young age. It's like, yeah, maybe it's been a little bit of struggle. The team hasn't been great, but he showed glimpses of, oh my God, this kid's that young and he's this good. It's hard to imagine that it won't come together. You got to remember, he's not 26 years old. He's still so young.
So James Reimer,
yeah,
who I was with in Carolina, wasn't playing a lot when I was there last year.
Always smiling.
Always smiling, but very smart guy. I asked him, I'm like, hey, what is about this kid? And he said his natural ability is as good as anyone in the NHL, but like you said, he's a young kid who has to figure it out, and if he can, he'll be as good as anyone, but there's a long way to go.
How's the work ethic?
I mean, I don't know him personally, but I'm sure.
I remember hearing stuff. He's like a Crosby. He's nuts at his workouts. Yeah, he's into it. So the Russian kid comes over. It's a good little duo. Everybody has a duo now in the
other coaching news. Did we talk about Cassidy or?
Great question, Whit. We'll get to that in a sec. Biz, I know you had some final thoughts on Torts, not Trots.
I mean, the obvious here, but it's better when Torts is in the league coaching. The sound bites, the post-game pressers. We now have an East Coast guy, Torts, and then a West Coast guy in Sutter just giving you hit after hit post-game. So it's great. I'm looking forward to seeing if they can turn it around. I believe that they will sneak into the playoffs next year. That's my early hot take prediction on what Torts is able to do to turn that team around, because this guy is telling me that Carter Hart's coming to play.
Yeah, I mean, the games I watched last year, he wasn't the issue. Like you're saying, it was the team D. He was getting hung out to dry. I mean, he had some off nights, but I wouldn't say he was the problem by any stretch with that team last year. And, everyone thought they were going to the playoffs last year. They got some good pieces in place. Coots will be back healthy. Whit mentioned Dallas, so I wouldn't be surprised if they get back in the playoffs with Torts cracking the whip there.
Wait, do you think that Johnny Gaudreau now does not sign for the Flyers because of that?
I don't even know, because I had no clue if he definitely was going to before all this. I wouldn't even be able to say if I think he's going to.
Okay.
I have no idea.
What about you?
Going.
I mean, I think a lot of people put it out of context. Like, if I'm a free agent and I'm a UFA, and the money is all relatively the same, and I've never got to play for the Colorado Avalanche, like, I'm signing with the Avs no matter what. You know what I mean?
Oh, like you're looking in terms of how good the team.
No, just like the hometown team. Yeah. So I think I don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know Johnny a little bit, have no idea what he's doing or whatever, but I think that there's also, you know what I mean, the off-ice stuff that I think that
he'd love to maybe like play where he's from.
Yeah, I would have loved to. You know what I mean?
He's gonna make so much money. What's Torts gonna do to him? He'll be like, beat it, Torts.
Yeah, you only got a 4-year, buddy. I'm sticking around. I make the decisions
he's on
here,
8
bitch.
or 7, yeah. So it's like,
I'm the captain now.
Yeah, actually, you know what? We're not doing your fucking meetings 10 minutes
you're 4
early as
times
10
4.
minutes
How's
late.
this
Fuck
7
you,
times
bitch.
10?
Suck on that. After being out of work for a whole week, after the Bruins fired him, the highly sought-after Bruce Cassidy was signed as head coach of the Vegas Golden Knights. Per Weeksy, his deal is in the neighborhood of 5 years times $4.5 million. Cassidy said, quote, hockey-wise, it was a no-brainer, and he joked, I just get tired of being out of work after being out for a whole week. Given that this is Vegas' third coach in 6 seasons, what's the over-under on his time there? I mean, 2.5 years?
You can't. Yeah, I mean, if he were to miss the playoffs, who knows? It's like I think that the expectation there, we've been over this a million times, is so high. But this hire actually made sense to me. I mean, I think that he's proven that he can get a team at least to the Cup final. He's been in the game long enough where I think that if you ask around, even though there were the rumblings that a lot of Bruins players didn't like playing for him, he wins, and he won in Boston. No, they had some good teams, but still, it's like when you have success the way he did. And that shows how shocking the firing was, because he got, 5 days? I mean, that's kind of hard for Bruins fans, I'm guessing. Like, wait a minute, one of the best teams, in quotes, Vegas should have been, way better than they were. One of the best teams went out and hired the guy we just fired. Like, why did we fire him? So, I don't know. I think that he can make that team much better. I think it's going to be different, because DeBoer and him are different style coaches.
If you're going to be a guy who carries around that type of brand of coaching, because I think where there's smoke, there's fire. I think he's a hard guy to play for.
Yeah.
And typically veterans and an older team can withstand a coach like that collectively as a group, kind of being like, fuck it, whatever. LA did a heck of a job when they had Sutter, when they won it both times. They were having fucking meetings and they were kicking him off the ice. That's how much they didn't like him. So I think in a situation where you're that established and you're that much of a veteran team, I think it's probably a benefit to have like a hard, stern coach like that, regardless of shelf life. What does he care? They're trying to win in the next 2-3 years. That's their bubble right now. And
what was his deal? Sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, the one component to all this is like how is a new guy going to react to the goalie situation? Like, just looking back to DeBoer, like, I think that he grew a little bit tired of it all. And I think that by the time that his time was done there, his frustration was even coming out in post-game press conferences. Like, you could tell he wasn't really sugarcoating as much. So how is he going to attack that? That, to me, is the main priority, because the rest of the team, they got the good back end. When they're healthy up front, they got a heck of an up front. Who's going to backstop them to a Stanley Cup? And how are you going to manage that situation?
Merles, what do you think that Cassidy's going to do that DeBoer wasn't doing? I mean, would you say that even coaching-wise, is one guy better than the other?
I just heard in Vegas they were kind of too loosey out there with the last couple of coaches. They needed somebody a little more firm, and they didn't go as crazy as taking Torts. And I think Cassidy's a perfect mix. And I just think that when all these things are happening so quickly, that does mean that Trotz is off the board. That's why I'm pretty sure he's taking the year off, because Vegas moved quick on them, and I can lead it right into another team
Trotz
in the South.
He ain't very young either. He's got to be one of the oldest coaches. I don't know. Brunelli's going to look that up.
I think he's younger than Tortorella, if I'm not mistaken.
But hey, listen.
59.
And Torts is probably a little bit older, but he looks like he's a little younger.
That's what coaching does to you.
Yeah,
Torts pretty good.
Torts 4 years older, 63.
Yeah, so he's getting up there too. Wow, so he's also wound up like a kite though.
He looks good. He looks good for 63.
I think Torts looks good for 63 for sure.
All right. There's a little bit of Canadian kindness in every sip of Labatt Blue Light. Spit out Blue Light. How did it get there, Biz? They're Canadian. That's how. You can spread the love yourself by sharing a Labatt. When you share a Labatt, you're not just sharing a beer. You're sharing an experience that'll pair with anything from hockey to a hoedown. Not that kind of hoedown, Paul. So next time you're watching a game with your buds, be sure to share a Labatt, because while you might not all root for the same team, you can all enjoy Labatt Blue Light. Barstool is going to be working with Labatt all year. Once again, we have some exciting content coming up, so grab a Blue Light and enjoy Labatt, the pristine Canadian Pilsner.
Cheers, boys.
Share Labatt.
Yep. Cheers. Hot stoves together.
Knights of the Round Table.
Live podcast. All right. Give me one.
Hot stove.
Boys, can I make a prediction?
let's hear
I
it.
think Barry Trotz goes to the Detroit Red Wings.
No
Wow.
I think it's a perfect situation. He can go in, mold these young players, build up a young. They have
think he
so
wants
many.
to be on I
I don't think they're
If
as
I'm
far
him,
away.
I'm going to Florida.
Oh,
easy.
that's where I think. So that's the situation. I think that Florida probably wants him badly. Is it very bad or badly?
Well, I know they're interviewing coaches right now, and I mean that's kind of public knowledge at this point, which is maybe they're seeing if they could find a better candidate than Brunette, but I guess he's still also in the hunt
he's
for the
up
job.
for Coach of the Year too.
Yeah, Frank Saravalli, our pal, he said the Panthers have interviewed Pete DeBoer, Travis Green, Rick Tocchet, Paul Maurice, and Barry Trotz. Andrew
that's a
Brunette
heavy-hitting list.
still kind of waiting in the wings here. You got to feel bad for him. I mean, this guy was a Jack Adams finalist. Now he might be out of a job. It's crazy how much his fortunes have changed. Excluding Trotz, who would you hire if you were the
It's like watching
Panthers
one of those
GM?
Gornos where like the guy has to watch his old lady get crushed.
I saw a rumor today that they're looking at the Finnish national team coach, and I'll give you a little tidbit. Billy Zito used to be an agent,
Wasserman,
and he started off small, and he was big in Finland. He was getting all these guys over to the Finnish league and
Tuukka,
bringing
right?
the Finnish guys over. And he was assistant GM for the Finnish GM in Columbus. A lot of Finnish stuff.
They got Barkov.
They need to do something after that display they did. They can't have Brunette come back after that.
I don't think with who's out there. I agree with you.
I think Paul Maurice, though, he hasn't gotten a lot of media coverage.
No, and that guy, there's a lot of good options out there. And then if you look at, even though Brunette is up for Coach of the Year, like that team was stacked, and once Quenneville was gone, it's an amazing year that they had, and I'm not taking anything away from him, but he's not proven, right? And then you saw in the second round how they looked. It's like, we have a chance here. Our window in Florida, like Huberdeau needs a new deal at one point. Like, our window's small. We need to bring in a coach who's been there and done that. I don't know necessarily about winning a Stanley Cup, but has been around the league longer than just that one season Brunette had. That's my opinion.
Well, and like during the course of that series, like sometimes coaches don't like to talk much in the media because they don't want to reveal what type of adjustments they want to make. But like we were watching every game because we were covering that series, and it's just like what you were hearing out of his mouth. It's like he was shook and he was like caught in the moment. And
after Game 3, really ripped them. Remember, he carved the Panthers after Game 3. Called them out.
Yeah, but it might have been a little bit too late. Where after game 2, they
no
should have done it. It was just like everything was off. And even before the series, Cooper said, he goes, I'm not maybe so much worried about like the skill and all those types of things about the series. I'm more concerned about what's between the ears. He said that before the fucking series started. So I felt that like Coop put him in a coach's blender, and you can't waste the window that you have with all these guys. So I don't know, maybe you just put him back in that assistant role, and you got to go find a guy who knows what the heck he's doing in a sense of experience.
What was exposed as like Florida's biggest weakness in that series? Like, what was
their
like,
power play didn't make one adjustment. They kept trying to feed it through the fucking seam. It's what they relied on all season long, and it's just like it's also hard too, right? Because you're the new coach and you don't have that experience, so you can't like maybe take guys off the power play. Like, let's be realistic. Huberdeau and Barkov did not look like themselves, and he just kept going to them, and they kept making.
Remember Hornquist? They finally put him in, and he scored.
He was the one that broke like the streak.
Yeah, or he was out there when they scored. It's like, and then also the funny thing about that series and looking at Florida is they didn't even get bad goaltending against Tampa. The goaltending was what everyone worried about, and they just got dominated special teams and then 5-on-5. So
I think there's a level to playing loose and fun hockey where you're scoring 6-7 goals every game, where maybe those, when you're getting exposed defensively, they don't stand out as much. But I mean, think about the brain farts they had. I mean, the Uyghur one where it was just like that's just basic fundamentals in a game, late in the game, like just stay in front of the net. That's just piss poor defensive play and structure, and sometimes those things are going to catch up to you.
Shorzy, is coaching Florida the most appealing job in the league, given very good team right now, South Florida, no taxes? I mean, even if they're not good, it's still appealing.
I mean, I think 100%. If I was a UFA coach, that's where I'd be. Like you said, they have a lot of pieces. They're going to win a lot of games. Obviously, they had a bad playoff this year, but the sunshine and no taxes, Whittle in Jupiter.
Driving an hour and a half to the practice.
I mean, I think it would be the most appealing job in the league for sure.
Absolutely. A couple other notes here. Kevin Weeks had another scoop. It hasn't happened yet. He said the Oilers are close to signing Jay Woodcroft to a 3-year deal as head coach. They went 26-9-3 after he took over for Dave Tippett. Of course, got to the Western Conference Finals for the first time in 16 years. Elliot Friedman tweeted late Sunday, hearing Pete DeBoer will be the next head coach of the Dallas Stars. I just checked his Twitter, nothing to update that, but he's usually pretty good on this stuff.
Merles, I was checking out the Chiclets Instagram. We posted this, and you said that you don't like this move for the Dallas Stars.
Yeah, I don't understand it at all. Like how many times? Like I just don't get why you keep doing these same coaches. Like it's not working. Try something else. Try a young guy. Try something new. I just don't get it.
I think he's had success where he goes, so it's like they want the quick turnaround, but it is odd that you don't see newer names and guys who just kind of been maybe in different leagues or had different experiences get chances. And I know I'm going against what I said with Brunette, but Brunette, they have a team that can maybe win a Stanley Cup. The Stars, for instance, it's like they could have gone in so many different directions, but DeBoer has had success on every team.
His team in New Jersey wasn't better than the LA Kings. They got to the finals with like a team that probably shouldn't even been to the finals. And then when you look at when he got there with San Jose, they weren't better than Pittsburgh, right? No. I mean, Martin Jones, he wasn't better than Flower or Matt Murray was. They didn't have the goaltending. I thought they had a better back end. And they didn't have fucking Malkin and Crosby, that's for sure. So he's brought in two teams that, probably overachieved to the Stanley Cup. I don't think it's by any means on him that they missed playoffs this year with the injuries that he had in Vegas. I think he's a good coach. He's won at the junior level. I think he deserves to be in the NHL. Yeah. So he's an NHL coach. He's got a winning record every team he's been on, I bet.
So you're just saying you don't like him for Dallas, or you don't like him as a coach?
I just don't like why you are recycling him. Yeah,
go back to the well.
He did
coaches.
Florida, New Jersey, San Jose, Vegas, and then he's right away. That's your first choice this quick. I don't know. Yeah. I want to see some young guys. I want to see maybe Lalonde from Tampa, not young guy obviously, but an assistant. Jim Montgomery get another shot. Maybe Ott gets a shot. Somebody.
Ryan Warsofsky.
So he won the coast with Charleston, correct? What is their name? South Carolina Stingrays? Is that their name?
Yep.
Rob Kacan's team, and then now he's in the finals with Chicago. So that's an example of somebody. That's kind of the way Bettman did it. So I know what you're saying. You want new blood in there for coaching, and then Chicago. There was a rumor today from Weeksy that they hired
I think he took it down. He took it down. He said situation was very fluid. What was the name of the fellow? I went to look for it, but he had taken the tweet down. So it was somebody.
Mark Rust or something?
Yeah, somebody off the grid a little bit. So.
Husk.
Yeah.
Husk, he got it wrong. He tweeted the first time and got the name wrong, retweeted again, and then deleted that tweet again.
Yeah.
So I think it was it was
that's like
Ryan
me
Husk.
every fucking tweet
Ryan
with all
Husk.
the mistakes I make writing.
Speaking of old coaches and whatnot, Gary Bettman, he would not commit to allowing Joe Quenneville back into the league quite yet. Quote, he has indicated that he would, at the appropriate time, like to be part of the game again. I don't think this is the time, but we'll see what happens in the future, end quote. I mean, what's an appropriate penance for this guy? A year, more or less? I mean, there's no like roadmap for this type of thing.
It's hard because, like, that Bettman's knowing that they're going to deal with blowback if it's a slap on the wrist where it's like he's gone for the rest of the year. I also don't know enough about it behind the scenes to have an opinion on it. So
in my just like what I think right off the bat, he sits out this year. I think maybe the next year.
Yeah, I think that's
able to coach. Yeah. That's getting fired. 10 games into this season, and then you can't play another. You can't coach another season, and then all right, well, I mean, the reports are tough, right? Like it's a very weird situation. But can he never coach again? That seems a little ridiculous to me.
It would be a little extreme. I mean, considering that he didn't commit a crime. I mean, maybe some judgment made. And again, there's a lot of, not to the incident itself, but in the report, a lot of he said, she said, finger pointing from other administrative guys and stuff. So, I don't think he did anything worth never being able to coach in the NHL.
And put it this way, like, if that guy was available and able to coach again, he'd be hired in 2 seconds. So, I mean, it's not like no team would ever touch him either.
Exactly.
It's like, deal with
I bet you half the teams might not hire him.
Really?
Oh, I bet you fucking Dubas wouldn't hire him.
It's some billionaire owner. He doesn't want to deal with the blowback of anything. He's like, whatever. There's enough other coaches. Look how many names we just ran off.
Owners want to win more than they want to, deal with the pushback that's going to come no matter. Yeah,
I would say maybe half the teams would stay away from him just because of the social media blowback.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, it also goes away in a day or two this day and age. So.
Yeah, well, who wants to deal with it for the 2 days and not have the fucking PR person ready to
do you think that there's one? Do you think that there's one team that could hire him in the NHL that would lose season ticket holders if they hired him? Because, like, literally, what would happen?
Vancouver.
What would happen? There'd be some angry
Definitely
tweets.
Vancouver.
Oh, yeah, they just burn the city down.
They'd
again.
move. Oh, Biz, maybe Winnipeg can entice Barry Trotz to get there because the Little Brown Jug Brewing Company offered him free beer for life if he takes the Winnipeg job.
Free beer for
Yeah.
life? Merle is drooling over here.
Free beer for life if he comes and coaches the Jets. What free thing for life would you consider to become a coach somewhere? Like,
In Winnipeg, fucking nothing. You give me free blowjobs for life. I ain't fucking moving. Nah.
minute.
Listen, I will say, Winnipeg, undercover, some very, very beautiful women in Winnipeg.
Yep, heard
Yeah,
that
I'm
a
sure
lot.
that's what Trotz is thinking about. Oh, yeah, honey.
Can't
I
wait
guess
to
there's
hit
a lot
up the
of
Shark
talent at
Club and
Earl's.
stare at some tits.
What about you? If not Winnipeg, like some city known for its food or a certain booze, like if you could get something free for life, is there something that would entice you to a job?
Yeah, dues at country clubs.
There you
Golf
go,
membership,
yeah.
you
Golf
go anywhere.
memberships,
Yeah.
Coach the Panthers.
Yeah,
There you go.
exactly.
Yeah.
Pay my dues every year, pay my initiation.
What about you, Merles? Free markers out in fucking Vegas?
Free markers at the casino, 100%.
Merle just wants markers.
Let me go.
They're like, that could
go
be your
play
salary.
craps all day.
A
after-
residency
You
at
get
the
your own,
Cosmopolitan.
you
He's like, I
get
don't
your
need a
own,
salary.
your own custom felt made in your like jersey.
There'll be no video meetings. As soon as practice is over, I'm right to the table.
That's
Shit.
awesome.
Merle does his player-coach meetings while at the table.
I would say
You have to buy in for $500. Give me a stack.
I would say Tampa lap dances. If I could go in every day after practice for like 10 of them, just free smell. I like they smell good. They spray themselves with all those ridiculous.
Oh, they smell
sprays.
great.
Wear your NVD sweatpants you were modeling earlier. For
Don't,
With
don't-
no
don't-
undies.
do strippers not have the most obnoxious smells? They get these like
Oh, it's ridiculous.
it's like walking by Abercrombie and Fitch when they were spraying that fierce all over the restaurant, but the girl
with
version
the
of
music pumping.
Oh, my
Yeah.
God. All right.
There's a documentary on Abercrombie and Fitch.
I haven't watched
it.
it.
Buy this.
Yeah,
book.
it's
awesome.
ridiculous.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
What, the Abercrombie one?
Yeah, it's great.
About how they built their infrastructure off of
Yeah, it's fucked up.
like racism.
Yeah,
Yeah.
legit.
It's
Was
super
it
fun.
bad?
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy that their whole business structure was just banana lands.
I was all in on Abercrombie. What about you? Were you an
Oh,
Abercrombie?
yeah,
guy?
that was,
I had a little bit, yeah.
That
Everyone
was my
did.
high school, like Abercrombie. And then, you'd get the Aeropostale for Christmas. You're like, oh, shit, I can't
yeah, if
wear
your mom
this.
hates your guts.
I was a Hollister guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
is
that came
Hollister.
into-
Hollister.
yeah,
put
yeah.
Hollister
You're
and
from
Abercrombie on
Burlington.
the same level.
What about structure? Am I know I'm dating myself.
Yeah,
but
that's
with
what I was.
structure,
I was
all right,
structure.
What was structure?
I don't even know what
It's a
structure
little like
is.
just
Yeah, it was
like
like a-
cleaner,
it was
That's what Torts is
fancier.
bringing to Philly.
It was like a higher level Gap. It was like Gap, maybe a level above the Gap,
Yeah.
just like price wise. I mean, Gap was like generic sort of plain, and then structure was a little bit pricey. You would get a nice silk shirt back in the early '90s.
I feel like you'd be a Hot Topic guy, all right.
I shopped there.
I'm a Hot Topic
I used to
guy,
wear the
man.
beaded chains and shit.
Did you?
Oh, boy, yeah. I was during my Jenko phase.
Boy. Well, Merles, I know we've been having some gambling here in the Gambling Cave, and a lot of people want digital wallets nowadays. You got to pay those tabs. You might want to do some shopping. That's why you need to check out Skrill. Skrill is the best digital wallet for gamblers because it was built for gamblers. Sophisticated gamblers use it to manage their bankroll, whether they're playing games like poker or betting on their favorite sports, like hockey. They manage their bankroll using the wallet, which allows them to pay instantly and securely. It's payments without limits, basically. You can access your bankroll with instant deposits and withdrawals and also draw the cash using your prepaid card. Let's just say Skrill is the best digital wallet for sports bettors, so it's a no-brainer to create your free account right this instant. Make sure to sign up at skrill.com/Barstool to create your free account and complete the account verification by clicking Follow the Game after registering so you can start using their digital wallet today. Again, that's skrill.com/Barstool.
All right, speaking of Skrill real quick, they will be sponsoring the other live stream we are doing this week that will be on Wednesday
Absolutely.
for Game 4.
That's
And
going
we're
to
going to
be
be doing that in NYC.
back at HQ, right across.
Yeah,
oh,
we have
TBA.
some really cool stuff planned. This week is Barstool Idol Week at Barstool Sports, so we're gonna get those guys involved. Big Cat, the whole crew. We'll get everyone involved.
It's a fun time. Actually, we showed up to the office today, and they just eliminated a girl. Part of the contest, they did a random wheel where one person was just going to get voted off where the wheel spun.
Right when they got there.
Right when they got there.
Yeah.
And it was two
That's
guys,
tough.
one of which, Kirk Minahan, had this guy, and he was working on Kurt's podcast.
Clemmer.
Yeah, and about a month ago,
Yeah,
he said,
he fucked over Kirk big time.
well, he
Yeah,
says,
yeah.
I'm going on Barstool Idol, and he said, you're fired.
Yeah, no. He didn't even just say that. He's like, oh, I can't come to the next show I'm going to do. He's like, because I'm going to the Celtics game like 3 days before with a friend who was pathetic. And Kirk just like, leave. He's like, leave.
I love Kirk.
You're not welcome back.
I love
And the
that
guy's
guy.
like, the guy. I don't know what the guy's doing. I never met him, but he had a he had a podcast where he was going to a movie every single day for a full year, and then he got COVID, so it ended, and then that was it. And I guess he thinks he's going to get hired by Barstool. I don't know what he's going to do. We have a movie guy. We got Jeff D. Lowe. So we'll see. I mean, Barstool Idol is exciting. They hired, that was how Francis got hired.
Who's our guy?
We met Luke, who's a big boy. I think he'd tell you. He's a big one. He's a big
Frank the Tank 2.0.
Big fella, yeah. He whipped out candy that he'd had in his pants all day long. It made me want to throw up, and Biz started eating these things. Oh my! I swear to God, I almost threw up. He's like offering me something. I want some. It was like a lady giving
the new
meatballs
craze
out as a gift in the wedding singer.
The new
like,
chocolate
get away
craze.
From me with those.
Yeah, Luke's dingleberries. Chocolate covered shit.
Oh my
like
God!
Raisinets,
So
but shit.
Luke, I think he's still around.
Team Luke.
So the
Is
other
Clemmer
girl
still around? The Minahan guy? Is he still alive?
He's still in the mix.
Yeah, moving right along. We got some more NHL news to get to, Biz. Vegas traded forward Evgeny Dadonov successfully this time. They sent him to Montreal for, Shea Weber's contract, we should say. Dadonov's got 1 year left at a $5 million cap hit. Weber's going to be 37 in August, and his playing future, we say it's unsure, but it's pretty unlikely he's going to be back. Obviously, it's a salary dump. Weber's still at 4 years left at a $7.857 million cap hit, and Vegas obviously can use that for LTIR. And also, too, he's going to save dough on taxes. Imagine going from Quebec taxes to fucking Nevada taxes. That's going to be, you're the agent, a couple $1 million maybe, or...
Yeah, I think it would be, I don't know exactly what it is in Montreal, but I assume probably 13 to 14% a year.
Huge.
Yeah, on his contract.
Huge.
You wouldn't have to live there if you're getting paid by them, right?
I think you'd have to have a residency there.
Yeah, because like the state of Florida, you have to be there six months and a day to be considered a state resident to not have to pay the state taxes. And I guess they look over like
they do.
credit card statements.
For
so
sure.
I don't know if you're gonna then
That's
save
why I
the
bought
money.
that land in Jackson until I found you had to actually had to live there.
It's like, oh shit.
I'm like, I don't even have a house on this property. How is this gonna work?
Biz is out in a tent. It's 3 degrees. Like, I'm just trying to save $17,000 a month.
Got pneumonia, but it's worth
I
it.
thought only the Coyotes took those kind of
I
contracts.
get eaten by a wolf.
How did Vegas get?
How'd
one
he
here?
go?
Yeah, well, they like the
He went
LTIR.
saving money with
Yeah.
Geico.
He left his compost out, and wolves ate him.
Rangers signed Sammy Blais to a 1 year extension worth $1.525
They missed
million.
him when he was out. He would have been a big help. Guy's a good player.
People were trying to give him a hard time online because he was like pumping his sister's tires in the DMs on Instagram. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, he
Okay, so
Said
let's
sexy
talk
babe
about
or something,
Listen,
you know.
and I think French people show a little bit more affection than English people.
Oh, they like make out with their brothers and sisters there.
No, he's so what, like
True. French people love being very like kissy, huggy. That's a fact.
Hey, which player that you play with makes you think like that?
I know exactly your
Talbot.
Max
Talbot.
Talbot.
Yeah. Talbot. Yeah.
Big time.
So wait. So what happened in this one?
I don't know. Like
I think you do know,
I'm gonna
though.
let GT this up because I don't want to get it wrong.
I'm just trying to find.
She,
I saw it,
She
yeah.
wrote he wrote the word "sexy" under her Instagram post, which I guess there's a translation thing where it doesn't mean.
Oh,
like,
that's not
he's
bad.
drooling over it. With just like maybe
It's
a
like him
lost in
saying you look
translation.
beautiful, sis.
Yeah,
He's like,
exactly. Yeah.
Well, one was like, I'm gonna
It's
crank it
fucking
off
internet.
to that tonight. That one, that's what
No, it was the one he deleted that was the issue. Said, send me another pic.
Oh my god.
I don't know. You look
Yeah.
at the picture; it's a solo shot of her. I just think it's a little weird.
Yeah, but that's the thing with these people online. Like all of a sudden, you're fucking making rumors up about the guy asking to tug one off to her. Like it's
Yeah,
crazy.
I mean, like you said, lost
okay,
in
so no, go
translation.
to Grinelli. You just made a face. What does this one say?
Yeah, I just think it's just weird. I'm just showing the guys the picture.
Right down there, he wrote "sexy babe" with a heart.
Oh, that's.
I mean, is it his older sister or younger sister?
Talking to your mic, Whit.
This is a nothing.
She
burger.
looks younger.
This is a nothing burger.
He's just pumping
Yeah.
her
It's
tires.
the
Maybe
fucking
that's why I
internet,
only
man.
got
You
1.5 million.
He can't do anything. Like he could have just said, "Oh, you look nice," and they'd fucking jump all over him.
No,
Fucking weirdos.
he's not. He's saying that she's fucking
Yeah, I just
sexy.
think the verbiage is.
Yeah,
just
well, that's what I'm saying. That's
He
the
doesn't
point.
speak
It
English
might not.
as his
It
first
might
language.
be different.
Fizz,
Like,
you should know this. You can't even speak either French or English. You'd write sexy mama looking hot.
Yeah, I do on my
Your
grandma's Instagram.
Your sister only dated Paul's.
That's true. Yeah, who the fuck am I? Yeah, yeah. Put
And she-
Natalie on that list.
And you caught her. You caught her in flagrant.
No, I caught Paul just going to fucking Pound Town on her badge.
His sister.
What?
Oh,
His sister got stumped.
Yeah,
His
yeah.
sister's on the workbench by another Paul,
Just
and he
getting
walked right in.
worked, buddy. Worked.
Yeah,
He was
and-
going to town. Right before brunch in Welland, Ontario.
Right before brunch.
Right before brunch.
Really ruined brunch.
Oh, buddy, I ate by myself at the fucking island and I left.
So what's going on, guys?
Just had one piece of bacon
Yeah.
and just stared off into space.
Yeah, he was making a fucking omelet right in her fucking.
That guy Paul eating a Belgian waffle pounded my sister on
exactly. He's putting
my
fucking,
parents' bed.
Yeah, he was
Hey,
putting
well-
the batter in the.
Either way, he would have been an RFA this summer. Before the extension, Blake will be a UFA next year. Merles, we need your expertise for this one. Vancouver signed free agent out of the KHL, Andrei Kuzmenko. I guess he was the most highly sought free agent on the market from KHL. What do you got for us?
Yeah,
buddy?
great player. Played for SKA St. Petersburg the last couple of years. He's a star. Not really sure why he picked Vancouver. Of
That
all the choices.
Podolskin's there. Maybe they're boys.
Yeah, I don't think he played
That's
SKA,
not how I
but
say his
yeah,
name, I don't
I was
think.
a little surprised because he was touring. He was doing the NHL tours. There was somebody on my Twitter that kept following him. He was down in Florida.
What
he was
all-
here.
it all has to
Washerman, is this a
do-
Washerman guy, Shorzy?
No, but Nick Shore's by far the best UFA free agent from the KHL.
Sign
so,
him.
so he might be the second best, but yeah.
So it has a lot to do with, assuming the contract and what they offered him. How is it structured?
No, he had to sign an entry level
Yeah,
deal.
1 year. He signed
Yeah,
a 1 year
it's the same
ELC.
deal for
But it's
everyone.
more for those guys, just like kind of the promise that the organization
Yeah.
got him. So I'm sure they said,
Well, so it's similar to Kaprizov.
No, he was
because
drafted.
Kaprizov was drafted.
Yeah,
This
he
guy's
was drafted.
undrafted. But even as an undrafted player, when you go over, you can't sign a huge ticket. It's entry level max. Rookie
Yes,
deal.
but he only got a one
One-
year. So the next contract,
Yeah.
he can be like
Well,
Kaprizov.
yeah, he'd be RFA,
So
but
very similar in a sense of if he pops off next year.
he could get a good
yeah,
little
yeah,
pay,
yeah,
big
yeah.
time.
So he
Big
must
time.
have thought, like, oh, all right, they're going to put me on this line. I'm going to get a ton of points.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure Vancouver said like they'll
have
give him a
everything.
top 6
You're not going to the
opportunity,
minors.
You're
Yep.
going to play on the power
And,
play.
By the way-
and maybe that's why they try to get rid of Miller. Maybe they get rid of that, or they can play 1 year together and then they get rid of that off the books the next year, and that's just his money to have.
All right, we shall see. Either way, Biz, the NHL teams are going to have more money to spend next year. The salary cap is going up after record revenues for the NHL in the 21-22 season. Good job, fellas. Good stuff.
Gary,
And we got the escrow is going to be paid off. When did they say, Shorzy?
21-36.
21. No. I think he said that there was a number that they thought it might be over 2025 maybe. Sure,
it's going down again every year.
okay. I thought that the money they owed because of the pandemic that was.
I don't think they know yet.
They already came out that would be paid off. All right, whatever. Maybe I'm making this up.
the
It's
cap,
out of our pay grade.
It's
the
one in the
cap's going up
morning.
to $82.5 million, and the floor is going up to $61 million. So that's always good. More money to get spent. Spread it around a little. Tonight, the NHL awards are on. ESPN in the U.S., Sportsnet, and TVA Sports up in Canada. Presenters include our buddy Jake Tebow, who we just had on a
Unreal.
week ago.
I'm going to
Awesome.
his graduation party Saturday. Am I
Me
going
too.
to see you there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I'm going to be there on right around 5 o'clock. I
Yeah.
met some of his buddies. They said, don't get there till later. We're going to get rowdy.
All right, yeah, I'm like, I'm not going to Uber. I don't know. Like, maybe I'll have to bring my sleep bag, sleep in the
Jesus.
car. We'll see what happens.
Oh my God!
They're like, hey, 3 weeks later, they're like, all right, you have to leave.
All right, this is the fourth time you taped the show. Yeah, you're going to have to screw it one of these days. Also, Chris and Kelsey Snow are going to be there along with their kids, Cohen and Willa. So make sure you tune into the awards tonight. Obviously, big names going to be getting some trophies tonight. Congrats to Marco Sturm, named head coach of the Ontario Reign, Biz's old team. He was the Kings assistant from 2018 till this past season. He was the head coach and GM of the German national team from 2015 to 2018, where he won silver at the Olympics. He's on track, basically, to be the first German-born coach in the NHL right now. And there have only been 2 European head coaches in NHL history. Alpo Suhonen, Chicago 21 years ago. He's from Finland. And the late Ivan Hlinka, who coached Pittsburgh same year. So imagine that, 21 years, there hasn't been a European coach.
Yeah, I mean, Ralph
I gave
Kruger
you the-
had
I
been
gave you
over
the
there,
scoop.
but- What?
I gave you the scoop. The Finnish guy going to
Yeah,
Florida.
right. Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Merck called it.
Have to see what happens.
There's,
Then he
there's
said-
a
but then he
Swedish
said
guy,
divorce stinks.
Richard Kronberg, that always comes up too. So it's
He's
one,
the guy who coaches in Zurich now.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
on the talks
Really?
too.
Yeah, but I think a lot of teams want him to be an assistant first, and I think a lot of those guys don't want to do that.
Yeah, they don't want to come over, even though I wonder
Pay
what the
their
pay.
dues. Yeah. I mean, they're probably all fucking been paying them over there, so they
Yeah.
figure why
A
would
good
they come
a
here and
good NHL assistant's probably making
I was going to say
no
400.
more than no. They make close to $1 million now. I know of a few.
Wow, really?
I know of a few that got offered.
Oh, I was thinking more average pay of an assistant.
Oh yeah, I would say the average is probably around 300-400, but the good top tier ones, like if you're going to entice a head coach from overseas to leave his head position and come try it out, I've heard of some being offered 900 as an assistant, which is, I mean, if you're making $1 million on a good team.
Take that.
It's fucking not bad, and you're not the guy who's got to deal with all the pressure. You're just taking, maybe one of the special teams.
So good,
and you get to be a little bit more friendlier with the players. Like a coach has to take, for the most part, his
I would love to be an assistant. I don't have that.
Isn't it a grind though? Don't you guys always say like assistant coaches are there when you get there, they're there when you leave?
They work a lot.
I think being assistant coach in the NHL is a pretty good gig, given the fact that most guys are making roughly like 300-400, and you're not the main guy, and you also have a lot of resources from like couple video guys, so anything you need you can ask for. Yeah, do you got to watch a lot of video, and do you have to prepare, and do you have to be at the rink long hours? Sure, but being a fucking head coach in the American League
that's grind.
You're making fucking 130, 150, 180 grand.
You're on the bus,
and you're the head guy. And it's just a bit of a shit sandwich. It's tough. It's tough business.
It's paying dues. Congrats to our pal Al Morganti. He was named this year as a recipient of the Elmer Ferguson Award for Excellence in Hockey Journalism. Gets a plaque at the Hockey Hall of Fame. And also to Bill Clement. He won the Foster Hewitt Award. It was awarded the Foster Hewitt Award for outstanding contributions as a hockey broadcaster. A couple Philly guys getting some media love. Of course, we met Al when we interviewed Jonesy. So congrats to those guys. That's a big honor for them. I know.
That's awesome.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, he really is, man. I hadn't met him before. I didn't realize he was a Boston guy, CM guy, until we met him at Jonesy. So good stuff. Congrats to those fellas. I want to talk to you for a second about BetterHelp, Biz. Life can get overwhelming, and many people are burned out without even knowing it. Symptoms can include lack of motivation, irritability, fatigue, and more. It's been pretty easy to get burned out lately, especially in the world the last couple of years, everything going on. That's why you need to take care of yourself or chat with somebody when you need to. We associate burnout with work, and that's not always the case. Any of our roles in life can lead us to feel burned out. Well, BetterHelp Online Therapy wants to remind you to prioritize yourself. And talking with someone can help you figure out what's wrong and what's causing the stress in your life. I know it's not an easy step for some old guys like me that are stubborn. They don't want to go to therapy. People are averse to it, whatever. But it's the way to get help, man. It's like you open up, share something, and talk to a stranger, and it can help immensely. That's why BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/Chiclets. That's BetterHelp.com/Chiclets. Don't be afraid to ask for help, folks.
Couples therapy too, all right, and teens. They do teens as well.
Oh, wow, really, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thanks
for
chiming in.
Maybe we can go to it, Merles, and we can rekindle the ball hockey flame.
I would enjoy that, Paul.
I heard some rumors about him joining the booth. I know we were talking about, the Chiclets Cup broadcast. Like it's out there.
Yeah, maybe come on as a Swiss Army knife, maybe as an e-bug as a player, like an alternate.
As long as he doesn't have one of those friggin' drinks we had in Vegas.
Yeah, what was it called?
Well, I'm actually going to bring a jock this time. I'm going to bring shin guards. I'm going to bring my own stick, just in case I do get the call.
Okay. And then aside from that, maybe
190 octane.
Some sideline
190
reporting.
octane, fly home to Sweden.
You got a 64 ounce 190 octane frozen drink at 9 in the morning for Chiclets Cup.
My throat was killing me.
We got to get to one of your stories you forgot to tell the last time. I think you teed Whit.
Oh yeah. You reminded me. I had heard it, and you said, "Whit, I forgot to tell that story about the ride to training camp and what happened."
Oh yeah, so I was just talking to a kid about this. I think now in the game, the worst time to get traded is as like a tweener, as a non-established NHL guy, but not still a prospect. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like you're over 25. When you've gone from prospect to suspect. And
kind of, yeah. So when I got traded from Florida to Calgary, I got traded at the deadline. Went right into Calgary, played probably 10 of 40 games to end the season. Then going into that off season, I was restricted, didn't have a lot of rights, signed a shitty contract.
With Calgary.
That's why you need to hire a good agent. Anyway, so signed a shitty contract I wasn't comfortable with. They signed a couple guys in free agency, and I kind of knew that going into camp, like,
I'm screwed.
I was like, this is not going to be good. But I'm like, all right,
Wait, time out. All right, just eat the cookie for fuck's sake. Can you guys hear that?
It's unbelievable.
Just eat the cookie.
I'm good.
You good? Okay. Go back.
Right.
Sorry, Shazzy.
So I signed the contract, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have a positive attitude. This is going to be a great year. I'll just fucking go in, camp, play hard, whatever.
I'm making this team.
I'm making this team.
Making
this team. It's like I'm going to go in 3 weeks early because at that time, like, you know what I mean? Go in early and show that, like, I'm in shape, all this stuff.
Free ice.
Yeah, whatever. No, I didn't care about that, but like you. But anyway, so my wife and I load up this car, which at the time, like, right after I had signed in Florida, played, I don't know, 40, 50 games in the NHL. I bought this stupid, like, Audi S, whatever. So
Quattro.
So we're driving from Denver to Calgary. My wife and I, full truck, everything's loaded. I'm like, I'm going to be there for the whole year. I'm going in 3 weeks early, ready to go.
She's already checking out apartments in Abbotsford.
Stockton is where it was, okay? So she's like, you know what, like supporting me, like, yeah, this is going to be great. Like, just put your best foot forward, whatever happens, happens. Middle of Montana, there's no one on the road. And the year before, I lived in a hotel in Florida. And I didn't know this at the time, but it's illegal to drive without insurance in Montana. So
I didn't think you could drive anywhere without insurance.
But I think they arrest you in Montana, so I don't know this at the time. So I'm driving through Montana, and my wife's like, there's no one on the road. She's like, you need to slow down. I'm probably going 110, probably.
So that's moving, but in the middle of the open road, it's
middle of the open road, but it's like whatever. So
what time of the day is this?
That's fucking
It's probably
fast.
at 3 or 4 p.m.
So that's buzzing. But if you don't see a car, it is.
No, I don't
but
see a
that's
car.
buzzing.
30
That's
miles
buzzing.
over
Okay,
the
so
speed
anyway,
limit
so
when
she's
it's-
like yelling
that's like
at
40.
she's yelling at me to slow down. I actually do slow down to like 100, probably. So now I'm 20 over. Next thing you know, this undercover truck pulls out. Like, you hear the sirens going. At the time, I'm like, the first thing that goes through my head is like, okay, I'm gonna get a big ticket.
Yeah,
That's
expensive.
it. So pull over, guy comes, takes my license, whatever, but he starts like taking a long time. So then finally he comes back to the car. He's like, sir, please step out of the car. And at first I'm like, okay, the car's full. He wants to look around, whatever. So I step out of the car. He's like, sir, you're under arrest. Throws me up against the car, handcuffs and everything. This is the middle of Montana, right? And I'm like, first I'm like, what did I do? Like, you know what I mean? I have no idea. My wife starts asking him what I did, and he looks at my wife was just my girlfriend at the time, and she looks and he goes, I don't know, we had an arrest warrant out for him, maybe didn't pay child support. And I have no kids at the time, right? I have no kids at the
Drew, you want to tell me something?
like this, so I go, I don't have any kids. So anyway, so he brings me a thing, but he still won't tell me why, like, I'm going to jail.
You're in the back of the cop car?
So yes, but the cop car doesn't even have a back. So he's in a pickup truck, an undercover pickup truck. So I'm sitting there handcuffed like this in a pickup truck. So I start finally, I'm like,
shotgun?
Where? Yeah, shotgun. I go, where's the jail? 70 miles.
Oh my
back.
No, dude.
Back the other direction. So the best thing about this is I'm in a light blue Lululemon hoodie. So I'm sitting there in a light blue Lululemon hoodie like this, handcuffed in the front of the car. So now my wife has to drive my car back to the jail. So she gets out from the passenger seat, walks around, and I would have bet every dollar I've ever made, she would have been bawling her eyes out. She gets out of the car, walks around, and looks at me like this, double thumbs up like this. And then looking like back, she was like, I thought you were going to like snap on the policeman. So I tried to make sure everything was okay. So 70 miles, here we go. This is in the middle of an 18-hour drive.
Hey, music playing or no?
Well, he still wouldn't tell me, though. He didn't know. The cop who arrested me didn't know why I was being arrested. He just knew that there was an arrest warrant out for my arrest. So in the middle of the drive, the radio starts going off. And it's like, yeah, we just arrested 20 meth heads. They're going crazy in the jail.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, my God.
So now I'm like...
You're listening to this?
Yeah, now I'm having a panic attack because I'm like, dude... So I look at the guy and I'm like, trying to be kind of cool about it. I'm like... So do I go in Gen Pop or I go, how does this work in there? And in my head, so then it starts, I'm like thinking like, if I had to beat up like one of these guys, like, could I beat up a bunch of them or whatever? He's like, no, we'll give you your own cell. You'll be fine. So I go in, take photos in my light blue Lululemon hoodie, smiling like this. Like, I didn't know what to do. They're like, 1, 2, 3. So I smiled like that. She ended up bailing me out. And it turns out that the year before I lived in a hotel because I was up and down so much. I got my credit card stolen. So I got a new credit card. And my car insurance in Florida was just on auto pay. So it just was never paid. So I was driving without.
Oh, because when you got the new card.
Because when I got the new card, it was without insurance. And I didn't know. So she had to bail me out with cash.
How long did you have to sit in there until she bailed you out or she could do it right away?
Probably an hour, 90 minutes.
Yeah, talk closer to the mic.
So probably 90 minutes. And so then she had to bail me out. And the worst part about the whole thing was she had to drive the rest of the road trip.
Oh, God.
So she had to drive 8 hours. So the worst part about getting arrested
going
was her driving the whole time.
And you snoring in the front seat.
Ended up having to write a letter and stuff like that, and they ended up dropping everything because of what happened or whatever. But I should have known right then. Then it was my worst season of hockey ever.
Oh, yeah, that's a sign.
But I should have known, like, that was a sign right then. I should have went to Russia that day. I should have called someone and been like...
You could have just paid the cop
I could have paid the cop, and I would have been like, okay, this is not going to work out. Ended up going to Stockton. That's when I played Biz.
I'm surprised when you got to the border of Canada, did they just notice that you'd just been arrested?
Well, I didn't have my license. So, like, I wasn't driving. I was just sitting as the passengers, hand my passport, and that was it. But, yeah, it was like that was probably – and that was kind of when my career in North America went downhill.
Did you get to see the crackheads in the other cell?
No, so I never saw them. And because I got everything dropped because of what happened, I never got – everyone's like, oh, did you get the photos? And I never got any photos.
Oh, I was going to ask you if we
maybe we have a listener in Montana Police Force that could find Drew Short mugshots.
What the fuck?
You guys want a piece of cookie that RA was dummying during your story?
No, I'm going to save it for after.
Okay, well, I'm going to have a
Stay
piece.
light.
Stay light, Whit.
If I was going to Bucktown with my old lady in the car, she'd fucking divorce me out. She hates driving me. Shocker.
Well, I think.
Well, you hold the whole. You know, RA. If somebody is waiting at the light in front of him and the light turns green, he doesn't go. He holds the horn down for 5 seconds.
No, they got about a 3-second beat before I lean on it. Yeah.
But I love that. I do the same thing. Like, I don't use the horn to warn people. I use it as like after they've done it, like to lay it on there, just like you.
Especially in Boston, man. If you don't, then you'll be fucking sitting there all day. So. All right, Whit, I think it's time to go to you, the U.S. Open. Mark Fitzpatrick, bit of a fan favorite, I guess you might say, won the U.S. Open, a barn burner with him and Zalatoris down at the end. What do you got for us, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, I tried to watch most of the tourney, and I know Merle's watched Sunday and really enjoyed it. I know Biz watched some of it. I'm sure you did, right? It was a great, great ending. Sunday, and there's been some kind of... I think in the last few years, some of the majors haven't been super exciting. Like Scottie Scheffler at the Masters this year wasn't the most exciting finish. The PGA, we had the Zalatoris kid who's never won. He got in the playoff against Justin Thomas. Justin Thomas gets it done. So then our third major of the year, the U.S. Open, the Country Club's this beautiful place. It's got so much history. They had the 1913 U.S. Open where Francis Ouimet, like he was a amateur, he won. So there's all this history about. They had the Ryder Cup, and I think it was '99 when Justin Leonard made that putt where the place goes nuts. They beat Europe, amazing comeback. So they hadn't had a USGA event since the 2013 U.S. Amateur. So that's the best amateurs in the world, mostly college kids. There's some older amateurs, and the winner and the guy that loses in the finals go to the Masters. So 2013, Matt Fitzpatrick won it. If people aren't aware, this guy was a stud from England. I think actually the story is his dad's like, we're going to play in this tournament in America. He didn't even really know much about it. He knew it was a big tournament. He comes over. His brother's on the bag. If you Google image it, his brother... Fitzpatrick, maybe he's 19, 20. Looks like he was 15. His brother was maybe 15. Looks like he was 10. So it's pretty cool that 9 years later he comes back as a pro and he got it done on an amazing finish. Scheffler went on a run Sunday. Zalatoris kind of started off slow. Then he went on a run. The lead was changing back and forth. The course looked awesome on TV. They actually have an 18-hole course. And then they have a 9-hole Primrose course. And they take 3 holes out of the main course, and then they add 3 holes from the Primrose to form this, basically the best possible the best possible combination of 18 of the 27 holes they can get. And it was tough. I mean, guys usually win tournaments, a lot of these PGA events at 15 under. I think the winner was 6, and it was just fun to watch. I thought that Rory McIlroy was going to get it done. He was in the tied for the lead or right there after the first day. I want Rory to win again. I don't know if he ever will.
Like win a major or a tournament?
A major, because he won the week before the Canadian Open. He's won 21 times now. He just, I don't know, in majors now, like maybe there's these younger bucks have just kind of passed him by a little bit. Golf's such a crazy game.
Is the U.S. Open the one where they try to make the greens as hard as possible?
Yeah, but they've switched it up a little. They used to make it legit. They would try to torture the players. The rough would be this long. The greens would be rock hard, and lately, over time, they've made it a little easier. Players used to complain so much, and I think a lot of golf fans who just maybe watch majors, and even myself, I watch a lot of golf, I guess, but I liked seeing them get tortured for a tournament. I liked seeing them all. They'd get so mad. The winner a couple years was like 5 over par. And they've gotten away from it a little. Also, the other thing is these guys are so fucking good. They hit the ball so far, and there's just so many good players. Like, if you think of golf, you think, like, of 15 names off the top of your head that could win any week.
I don't watch a lot of golf. I could name you 15
Yeah,
guys.
exactly. So it's like, I don't know, at one point, no matter, there's a hole there. It was 650 yards dead up a hill. Legitimately.
Par 5?
Par 5. I'm talking your second shot, if you hit a good drive, guys were like 280. Dead up a hill. And like members that are like, nobody's going to reach that green in 2. The first day, Koepka hit an iron to it. It's like, I don't think you can make a hole long enough where these guys won't reach it. So the game is definitely just at this amazing place where even though this course is so hard, people still shoot under par. But Fitzpatrick's cool. He put, I think, 30 yards on his driver. He's gained so much distance because now you got to pound it.
And then he said he passed the piss test.
Yeah. Somebody asked him, like, you're on the Bryson plan. He's like, oh, I already passed my drug test. Like, maybe I think he was laughing, maybe a little dig at Bryson. Yeah, and this Zalatoris guy hasn't won yet, but he's in the hunt. I
didn't realize he hadn't won a tournament yet, Zalatoris.
I don't think a PGA Tour event,
But yeah, he's probably top 10 in FedEx points because he's in the hunt on everything.
Yeah, it seems like that. So I think that it was a great major. Next year it's going to LA Country Club, which is sick. LA Country Club North. Playboy Mansion's right on it, Biz. Maybe you can go to the tournament.
Give me a
Go
break.
play with some monkeys.
Who's the best PGA golfer ever who never won a tournament?
I don't know. I wouldn't know the best player to never actually win a tour event. Colin Montgomery never won a major. He was nasty, the Scottish guy. He won.
I know who that is.
Yeah, he was sick, like chunky, like great swing. He never won a major.
Yeah, he looks like a fatter you.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Doesn't he?
Yeah, like curly hair.
Yeah.
I'll take it. I wish I swung like him. I would easily agree to put on the 60 pounds that Monty outweighs me by to be that good. In a heartbeat. I would never see my dick again to swing the club like Monty.
Who's the guy who used to light up all the cigars and he had the long hair?
Miguel Angel Jimenez.
Is he still going?
He still crushes the senior tour, Champions Tour. The guy's a legend. He does the stretching and just drinks wine all the time.
Yeah.
We had a couple snap shows, too, with Justin Thomas going off about the rules. They caught him on a hot mic. And then this guy, Grayson Murray, like fucking tossed his iron, broken iron.
I was going to ask you about that. Guy on the PGA, should Grayson be doing that?
Like, people would say no, and he'll get fined for it. I think the fines are pretty big for, like, doing that stuff on tour, on TV. But, fuck, I mean, golf is a maddening game.
Yeah,
and, like,
it makes it way more
fun. Honestly, like, I'm not kidding. I threw a club with Whitney and Commodore at the Sandbagger. I fired a club about 3 weeks ago. I think I've probably thrown like 3 or 4 clubs in the last 2 years. Legit.
Oh, yeah, I
know.
But
every time, I feel like an absolute idiot. Like, you're going, dude, back in the day, I used to throw 15 clubs around when I was like a worst player. One time I fired a 4-iron at Walston on the 14th hole. I fired it 100 miles an hour up. Well, yeah, I had a cannon. Don't worry. Maybe it was 80. I fired it up. Boom! It stays in the tree. This is no word of a lie. I'm like, oh shit! I gotta get a new 5-iron. No word of a lie. 2 weeks later, I'm at the same part of the hole. It falls down at my feet. And it had snapped. It was broken. It was, swear to God, it was like the golf gods just being like, you broke this club, you dickhead, and now we're going to drop it at your feet so you can see. I'm not kidding. What are the odds of that happening? And I've still thrown clubs since. But I feel bad.
That would be an insane thing to happen, the fact that it landed at your feet broken.
Crazy. Craziest thing that's ever happened.
You're like, Noonan, fix the grip on those, like fucking Judge Smales and Caddyshack when he chucks the putter and
you'll
catches
get
the lady
nothing
in the
like
head.
it.
I kind of saw a taste of that when we played that bowling alley of a course.
Oh, a couple things. Oh, yeah. That
you were losing.
Yeah, I was so wanted to kill Avery. Another thing that cracked me up was, if you watch the golf tournament, on the 15th hole, which was a monster hole, in the final, in the Sunday round, Fitzpatrick missed the fairway by 40 yards, legit, 30 to 40 yards right. Zalatoris missed the fairway by 3 yards. Well, all the fans, right? They trampled down all this grass after the whole week of being at this event. So Fitzpatrick's in this perfect lie on this dead grass that everyone's walking over, and he blew it way right. Zalatoris just missed his drive in the right, and he's buried. He made bogey, and I think Fitzpatrick might have made birdie on 15.
Oh, God. So that's the swing.
Yeah, it was a big swing, and it was just kind of like, oh, that's the bounce.
That's golf.
Dude.
That's golf.
Did you see what Rory said after he won the week before?
About Norman?
Just about, like, you can't put a price on. What'd you think of that?
Says the guy who he's made $200 million.
No, he's made way more than that.
There you go.
And like this thing is so crazy with Live Golf. It's I think I hear a lot more names are coming this week, some big names. And I don't know what ends up happening. It's like it's just I keep saying like this guy gets offered $75 million. I mean,
but someone told me this.
And mind you, sorry, Shorzy, so Phil and DJ, like people who took the Live money, like they were getting ridiculous cheers at the event. So, like, as much as these media members are gunning after them, and a lot of people who are golf fans
playing money, 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 money.
I don't think any music was playing.
Money. I heard, or unless it was a fake video on the internet, when Mickelson went off to the first tee, they played that as he was walking to his ball.
No, I think
it's a meme video.
That had to be.
Who gives a fuck? Let's just make it up.
That was like the shark in Nantucket that Portnoy fell for. The shark swimming around Nantucket flood.
All right, you said something one time. You said shark warnings are the stupidest thing. Remember you said
that was a grind my gears. I'm like, all right, we're trying to save people's limbs.
Yeah, I mean, common fucking sense. There's seals there. There's going to be some sharks there.
I know, and once I said it.
I mean, yeah, put the signs there, but I don't know. You could still risk it. I wouldn't swim there.
We're going to hold back this news ad to not let people know there's a shark in the water.
Just go ahead.
No joy.
He's not hungry. He just ate 3 seals.
They probably do it so they don't have to worry about the mess at the hospital.
That kid.
The other thing that drives me nuts about some of the tour events. So when you play the country club, the first hole's going this way, and the first tee's here, and the 18th green's next to it. In between that is a range. That's where you warm up when you go play there. Well, these guys needed like a much bigger range, so this wasn't big enough, so they put a huge maintenance tent. Well, when you play there normally, that's out of bounds. If you hit it left on 1 or left on 18, OB, re-tee, hit your third ball. For this, it wasn't. Guys were ripping the ball dead left into the merchandise tent. They get the ball. They get this perfect drop looking right at the green. It's like...
That shouldn't be allowed.
Yeah, like and like some of the guys are aiming for it. It's like if you're playing with your buddies, you don't even get that. Like, why do these guys get it? They're the best in the world. Drives me nuts.
I never noticed that.
Yeah,
I seen that one shot. I figured it was. It hit the with the storm drain or the sprinkler head rather, and got like another 100 yards off the bounce.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, I
forget what guy it was. Yeah, it hit like perfect doink right off the sprinkler head. It got like 150 extra yards just off that fucking bounce. Yeah,
I love it. Hey,
nice hop.
We're probably done with golf, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm done.
Oh, I was just going to ask Shorzy if he had one more story that he hadn't shared.
Yeah, we can get to that 1 second. First, Biz, we want to let you know that Shopify is the all-in-one commerce platform to start, run, and grow your business. Shopify gives entrepreneurs the resources once reserved for big business. So upstarts, startups, and established businesses alike can sell everywhere, synchronize online and in-person sales, and effortlessly stay informed. Shopify offers online retailers a suite of services including payments, marketing, shipping, and customer engagement tools. Connect with your customers, drive sales, manage your day-to-day. Shopify instantly lets you accept all major payments. Shopify has thousands of integrations and third-party apps, from on-demand printing to accounting to advanced chatbots to and beyond. Go to shopify.com/chiclets, all lowercase, for a free 14-day trial and get full access to Shopify's entire suite of features. Grow your business with Shopify today. Go to shopify.com/chiclets right now. Shorzy, what do you got for us?
Well, Merles, you had a good question for him.
Sorry.
Fitzpatrick, the U.S. Open champion, is from across the seas. I was wondering, what was your favorite stop in your playing days over there? You played in a couple different spots. You're kind of a suitcase like myself.
Yeah, I don't know if I made as many tour stops as you did, but I definitely was close. Zurich for sure. I should have stayed in Zurich my whole career.
Why'd you ever leave?
Because you think the grass is greener when that's not the case.
When you're in Switzerland eating chocolate.
Yeah, it's so good there. We won there my first year there, and it was so fun. Should have stayed there forever. Went to Russia, and then...
But was the dough better?
Yeah, a little bit. So, like, I was on a pretty good deal in Zurich. So, I mean, I probably left for 30%, 40% maybe better
a lot
money.
of money.
But the headache.
Yeah, that's a good amount.
No, yeah, but the headache was 700 times the money. And it's like then you get, you know what I mean, then I'm fired 6 months later, whereas like a lot of those guys in Switzerland have pretty good gigs. They can stay for 5 years. What was your favorite spot? Amur?
Yeah, Mur was not my favorite spot. Definitely Sweden was up there. I really talk about Zagreb, Croatia, just because of the group of guys we had. We had all a bunch of North Americans and stuff. Switzerland I loved. I only got to play in the top league a little bit, but every game we'd get the case of beer in our seat. Did you guys have that in Zurich too?
Like after the game?
Yeah, after the game. There was always a case of beer. Christian Berglund would grab it.
In the locker room?
Well, sometimes at home in the locker room, but on every bus ride. And the bus rides are only 2 hours, and we would sit there. We each have like 6, 7 beers. It was the best.
Yeah, you're home every night. Like the longest drive in Switzerland's 3 hours.
Oh, that's living. That's why every guy wants to play there after the end.
No, and the Swiss guys think the 3-hour drive from Zurich to Geneva is like Merle's flying from Vegas. Yeah,
That's how they act.
Oh yeah. So our last game one year was in Geneva, and they were like, "We got to be in playoffs, like in a good seed, locked up before then, because we can't win on the road. Like it's a 2-hour drive.
Too far."
Yeah, you stop for cake. I'll never forget this. The first road trip. This is the best.
Yeah, they think that 3 hours
So
is
some of these Swiss guys, like the good Swiss guys now, are making probably the equivalent of like 750, 800,000 US like a year. So these guys are getting paid. They're stopping 2 hours before the game, complaining about the long bus ride, eating cake and having coffee before the game. It's literally, it's crazy.
Just to break it up.
Yeah,
Softer than puppy shit.
They got a good lifestyle.
Yeah, real soft. And then when the game gets tough, they don't want to be out there. They start tapping you. Hey, import, go get us a goal. It
gets physical.
Yeah, and then it gets tight, and then pressure's on. They want no part of it.
At
least the guys I played with.
The English league, we had like a 9-10 hour bus ride. The first game I was ever there.
Yeah,
Scotland.
That would not be happening in the Swiss NLA. They would be.
They'd be asking for helicopters.
What was the city when he said that you probably enjoyed it, but you were like, no, I did not like that? Mur?
Mur, yeah, that's in
It's
the
named
far.
after you?
Yeah,
it's close to Hawaii.
It's in the far east of Russia, over just above China.
Legit.
Great. I was just telling him that story. One of our original airline, we had a real plane with 3 seats and 3 seats, went out of business. So they put us on this 2 and 2 seater, a real small one. The pilot coming back and smoking cigarettes during the flights and story for another time. But this was Christmas Day. So in Russia, they don't really honor Christmas.
It was Michel Tarianov.
We flew 4 hours. You fly 4 hours up. We had to drop down and refuel, which takes 2 hours. So we'd get out, play soccer while they're refueling, back in. Boom, up 4 hours again, drop down again. We got to refuel again. Another 2 hours, soccer. Back up. We finished 3 hours in. Directly to the rink for an hour practice. After practice to the hotel, 45-minute video meeting. Then we got to have dinner. Played the next day, like 4 p.m. their time. And now we've traveled, what was that, 12 hours of flight? But now the time zones are just like nuts. Yeah, we lost 6-1, of course.
That's a game you got to bet.
And it was against Magnitogorsk. So it was just a beating. But that was the travel from that place. Our closest team was a 4-hour flight, Novokuznetsk. Did you ever play there? Or were they in the low?
Novokuznetsk?
Yeah.
Is that the one that Sopol was
talking
about?
Sopol was there.
When they had the alligator tears drug?
Yep, that was the closest team, 4-hour flight.
What's the alligator tears drug?
Crocodile or something like that.
Or crocodile tears.
That's Novokuznetsk.
Yeah. No, Biz, I never tried it.
Yeah.
He's like, I make it.
Yeah, give it a whirl.
Do you have any crazy stories from when you were overseas?
I don't know if you heard, I have a good friend who's confirmed. I don't know if you guys heard the story about Astana, Kazakhstan.
No.
So I was not there for this, but this is what I've been told. There was a 7 or 8 game where they didn't have a lot of puck luck on both nets. So after practice one day, and this story has been vouched for by a lot of imports who I trust, they may or may not have brought out a live animal, taken a sword, and ended the life of that animal, and taken the blood of that animal into both goal creases and spread it over them for good luck. And like I said, one of my good friends who was standing there at the time, I remember them pulling out a sword like straight from Aladdin.
That's what they're going to do to the guys on the Live Tour if they bogey the 18th goal.
But no, it was good. Like I remember too, one time like in Minsk, we weren't very good. and like we got beat 7-1 in UFA one game. And rather than practicing the next day, like we went to church.
Oh, that was did Hennessy not tell us this one?
Really?
So we went to church and like we're there for like their days there. Like when you're winning there, it's like day off, bonus, everything's good.
Yeah.
When you're losing, it's like practice. Like you're at the rink from 7 to 5.
Double session.
Yeah. So one day we were at like this church, and finally Shane Prince, who played for the Islanders for a bit, was like, "What the fuck's going on here? Like we've been here for 3 hours." And they were like, like better luck. And we had just gotten beat 7-1. Like the shots were 50-5. So finally he stood up in front of the entire team and was like, "We don't need better luck. We need better fucking defensemen." But no, it's good. I'm trying to think. You go through the scoring there, like.
Oh, the points?
Yeah, this is crazy though. So you one time
can't get second assists.
Can't get second assists, but if you're a good enough high-end Russian, you somehow find a way to get those second assists. But it's like if we go in on a 2-on-1, I pass it to you, you pass it.
You negate the second assist?
A lot of times, yeah.
And if you take a shot from the point, if I take a shot from the point, rebound goes to Shorzy and he dishes it to Merle scores, I don't get the second assist.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think in the NHL, if like the guy makes the outlet pass and they go give and go back
I think you
4
should get
times.
it because the guys get more money, and that's how I got
We wouldn't have any points if they did it that way.
If I pass to Crosby and him and Malcolm go back and forth 3 times, I better get
I don't
that second
personally
point.
care. I guess I'm just asking RA.
They go more official by it, I would say.
All right, do you think the guy who made the outlet pass,
Russia.
regardless of the give and go back and forth, like 4 times going on a 2-on-1 back and forth, do you think that the original outlet pass should get the assist?
They never would have had it to go back and forth to each other if the guy hadn't snapped it up to him.
Well, I know, but I mean, okay, I'm asking other people's opinion.
Saying, so, in other words, an assist when you weren't one of the last couple guys to touch the puck.
Yeah.
Without y'all play, it wouldn't have happened. Yeah, that's an interesting debate because, yeah, sometimes you do deserve an assist, but if they went back and forth.
He's losing that we're talking about.
More points, better contracts. Crazy.
Cha-ching.
Yeah.
I mean, if they stopped doing that, they'd really, none of the old records would get touched.
Yeah, they can't stop that. They won't. That is not going to be. The players would never.
Well, it sounds like it never started in Russia unless you're a Russian.
That's so guys don't hit player bonuses.
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably the reason why.
Yeah.
Then yes, they're trying to prevent guys from hitting the shady bonuses that they weren't going to pay out anyway.
It's crazy there too. A lot of guys' bonuses, you have to have like a plus-minus bonus in your contract. So your points bonus, like you'll have a bonus at 20, 40, and 60, say, but like it's only if you finish like 0. Like or
based
plus.
on what you're because if you get
but
them
it's
on
crazy.
the power play,
but it goes through playoffs there. So it's like imagine you've got you just hit 40 points. You're at +1. Your team pulls the goalie.
Oh,
like
I'm
in
sprinting off
game
the ice.
6. Yeah, you're saying your skate blade broke.
Like we're up 4. Why are we pulling the goalie? Because you're plus minus.
Or like you know what I mean. Imagine your coach like pulls them early now, like 4-1 with 6 minutes left. They score, then they pull them again.
Yeah, that sucks. That's
any scary moments with the police there? You ever get like your passport taken or have to pay off a cop?
No, I never did.
Did you have a driver?
That was Montana.
I had a driver who was great. When I got fired from Minsk, if I flew home, so we had a 1-year-old there at the time. It was 4 hours to Germany, 8 hours home. We showed up in Minsk, and like the flight attendants went on like strike. I guess they do this in it was like a Finnish airline all the time. They just like went on strike. So we sat there for 8 hours.
Oh my god! With
had
a
to
1-year-old.
with a 1-year-old, had to spend the night in Germany. Got on the plane in Germany. So now we're 10 hours home to Denver. Had to pull back into the gate, and my wife literally retired on the plane. She was crying, I swear to God, and she said, literally, she was crying, and she said, "I love you, but I will never, ever fly over here again." And that's when I called him, and I was like, I guess I'll sign somewhere in North America, and that was the end of my European.
Well, with the kid, it's like, I cannot be doing that anymore.
No, flying over there with kids.
Oh. Merle does it every weekend.
Yeah, he does it. He goes on that
but not with
the ferry ride.
Yeah, no, he's not with kids, but they do go back and forth. With
Yeah,
Lily,
I've done
right?
a lot. It's a lot easier without the kid.
No, I'd fly around the entire world 3 times before I flew.
If you have kids, and going on a flight without them is like the vacation. That would be my vacation, just flying around without the kids.
Well, no, that's funny too because you pay for the upgrade or whatever, but it's like you don't sleep the whole time.
You don't give them an
miserable
Ambien?
the whole time. You're
Point.
still
You don't
just
just give them an Ambien or
You're still
something?
just walking.
Oh yeah, we put Ambien in their bottle, dude.
A whiskey in the bottle, like fucking my grandfather.
Get him hypnotized.
We mentioned the Celtics earlier. They lost to Golden State. Golden State, their 4th NBA title biz in 8 years. Steph won his first Finals MVP. this guy, man, when you bet against him, it's like, forget about it. Every time he pulls up from a shot, it's fucking money. Tough finals for Tatum, man. I was waiting for him to step up. I'm not sure how much you watched.
I didn't see the clinching game. I'd watched the ones before that. The game's starting at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, it doesn't help. Just the Golden State, just the second opponent ever to win a title on the Boston parquet. The Lakers did back in '85. Steve Kerr, how about this? He's won a third of the last 27 NBA Finals. 5 as a player, 4 as a coach.
Wow.
9 out of the last 27. And 28-1 Golden State was preseason. Those were the biggest odds since 1984 for an NBA team to win the title. So,
as far as Tatum's concerned, like I was kind of following like the social media stuff and like his like post-game presser antics a little bit with like a lot of like the Kobe, like just like referencing Kobe and stuff all the time.
People are overreacting, though.
Yeah, I mean,
I think people are being off like pretty hard on Jason Tatum. He's 24. Like, he's still a young kid. Like, let the kid become a superstar. Like it's his first time to the finals. People are really being way too hard on him.
Yeah, but also like he's been this next great superstar, and there were games you're kind of waiting for him to like step up and take over. And Jalen was stepping up, but he wasn't really getting it done as much as we hoped.
Steph Curry was stepping up.
Steph Curry, man, unbelievable.
Just don't throw the towel in just yet, though.
And,
you know?
No, absolutely not. Not saying that by any stretch. I think the criticism
just being critical of his like it's like.
I mean,
just stop talking about Kobe. Just maybe play your own game and just be yourself. I don't know.
Stop texting Kobe. You know what I mean? He was texting Kobe all the
time.
Correct.
Yeah, it's just like a little bizarre.
And also, as a Celtics fan, it's like, I know it's like he's got the fucking armband on. It's like, dude, those are the Lakers colors. It's like you're on the fucking Celtics in the finals, man. It's just like
a little bizarre.
Yeah, it's I get it's like what has had a relationship with him and all that. It was his idol, but it's like, dude, you're on the Celtics and you're wearing purple and gold. It's just a fucking awkward look. So
I hear that.
Anyways, and also our buddy Dave Portnoy, he had a little back and forth with Draymond Green. Of course, Dave had the shirt. Draymond is a jerk face. He had it right in front of his face, and then Draymond retweeted Dave like, "Hold that L, sucker," to El Prez. Yeah, it was pretty fun. Pretty good content
awesome
stuff.
Well, they were fuck youing him at the Garden. I think he maybe a little overreaction to that. Like, fuck you, Draymond. Like, big deal.
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw, but today, like, they
What?
sent out that huge thing, like a bunch of his family members about the vulgar language, and then today he was just partying at the parade, and everything was fuck this, fuck them.
They just hate Boston. Like most of the NBA fans hate Boston anyways, regardless. So it was like I think they were like going in extra because it was Boston. Because it was the game after that. Mike Breen, who does play-by-play, he's like, oh, last game there was some derogatory chants here, like pointing out. And then Mark Jackson, to his credit, analyst, he's like, you know what, Mike, this happens in every city. Don't make it look like it only happens. I was like, thank you. Last year, right up the street across the river, MSG, fuck Trae Young, fuck Trae. It's like that, they did that for 5 games or whatever it was. And no one said the fucking
Draymond
vote.
Green had a bad series until the end. He was great. And a lot of the media ripped him for saying he was more prepared for his podcast after it.
Correct.
You should have him on.
Do you think I would love to. Do you think we'll ever see an NHL guy have one that say after
I'm sure.
After a playoff game, he'll
maybe
hop
not now. Maybe in
right
20 years. I think that we're
we're just a little slow on all that.
Yeah, as far as showing individual.
But it was pretty
personality.
funny. His response to it was he's way better talking basketball than any of the media members are. So it's all of them saying you were more prepared for your pod. He's like, well, yeah, people are going to listen to me talk basketball.
Yeah.
They're not going to listen to you who played high school Division III talk basketball.
And he won't be playing much longer.
Now that they won, you'll never think of it again. If they'd lost maybe, and he sucked the whole time, but he had the double-double.
He was good in game 6.
I took the train down yesterday, Biz, and you're never gonna guess what happened. My gears got grinded once again.
Transportation.
I know we beat the transpo thing, and that's when they pop up.
I can't wait to hear this.
This was actually much transportation related. Okay, now it's not the quiet car. I didn't sit in the quiet car. You're gonna be some noise. The woman next to me, right next to me, on the phone for probably fucking half the 4-hour train ride, and I don't even like taking calls on them on. I'll lean over, talk, whisper, whatever. She was on this side of me too, so she's talking 6 inches from me, and then you're looking over. I got the headphones on. It's fucking rude. You got a whole train. You can walk around, talk to people. Or, shouldn't have to go.
They
to
have phone spots on those trains.
Exactly. There's any way you can go, and it's you're kind of looking at it, but you don't want to be fucking rude. You just keep turning the volume up. But yeah, man, that grinds my fucking gears when people sit there like me to you. How would you like it 4 hours of sitting there? Blah, 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 blah. It's annoying, man.
No, yeah, I mean. Yeah, I had me and Katie were in Cabo. There was a lady going to town at the bar right next to us, FaceTiming every single one of her
the
friends.
FaceTime's worse because then you're hearing the other person
So
too.
you're hearing it back and forth, and she was completely unself-aware, and to the point where everybody at the bar, including the bartenders, were like, "This lady's out of her mind."
Mm-hmm.
If I'm getting a call in a restaurant or in a place like that, I'm saying, "Hey, I'll text you or I'll call you back." or I'm going for the walk.
Nobody gives a fuck, you know. If it's work related, get up and walk around, man.
Yeah.
It's just rude, but
That grinds my fucking gears.
Thank you.
All right.
I got to
the way of
grind
the
my
world.
gears too.
Ooh,
All right.
let's have it.
So I went to the beach on Saturday morning, right? It was pretty empty. So we find our spot. We set up. I dig the umbrella in. I'm not a strong guy. It took a lot of energy for me to dig this umbrella in. And what happens 5 minutes later? A family of probably 20 people comes and parks right next to us.
When there's a lot of open beach.
Paul, the whole beach is wide open. And this family, for right away, I hear, Mom, 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 Mom. I'm like, are we really doing this right now? You have a whole beach. So I had to unpack the umbrella.
Oh, you didn't say something?
I didn't say something because I'm like, you know
Why
what?
You wouldn't have gone over and say, hey, listen, there's the whole beach here. And you guys
No.
just...
I had to pack up, move all my stuff over to the other end of the beach. By the time I got to the other end of the beach, it started getting windy. It was all shitty, so I had to leave the beach.
That's karma for all the times that you and your buddies went to the beach and set up shop right beside a bunch of girls.
Yeah.
And and you were staring at their asses.
Well, I called out some high schoolers, too, because they were there right before us, too. I guess it was senior skip day. And my senior skip day, I left a mess on the beach, and some kids from that hometown came up to me and were like, basically like, we're going to kick your ass if you don't clean the beach.
No.
I cleaned the beach. So I said to these kids, I'm like, you guys left like a ton of shit. Can you please clean this up? They reluctantly came over and were like, we're sorry, sir. And they
There you go.
Sir. Holy shit,
Wow.
really getting sir.
Before he gets pubes on
I
his
thought
neck.
I thought you were gonna say they threatened to beat you up. You clean up their mess.
Oh, no, they would have. They would have, too. They would have kicked my ass.
Biz, I mentioned the story to you earlier. This is pretty wild. A lady got $5 million from Geico.
Yeah, this is nuts.
She caught an STD from her former boyfriend when they had sex in his car. She got HPV. She sued his car's insurance company, Geico. They paid out a $5 million fucking payment to this woman for catching thing. Insurance companies hate to pay that shit out. I don't know how she won that, but $5 million now. I got to ask you, is there any number you would take to get an incurable
I
STD?
call those fucking broads who gave me the clap throughout the day. Maybe I can
But
get a little
that's
side
curable
coin.
though. I mean, that's $5 million for a shot.
That's pretty. That's a big payout. I mean, that's probably that probably surpasses the one that I heard where somebody made $1.7 million from Winnebago because it didn't specify in the manual that when you put it on cruise control, it didn't drive the actual.
We talked about that. We talked about that.
They went to the back to make a cup of coffee on the way home from like an Alabama State game or whatever it was. Shocker, it was in one of those states.
Which one?
They ended up. Well, I'm just saying, like in a southern state, you know.
Colorado.
Yeah. Colorado. Yeah. But that's a lot of dough. I mean, holy shit.
But I think also worth noting too, and maybe because it's HPV, which in women that's the virus that actually leads to cervical cancer. So I was thinking that might be why the number's so high. And also, like, if you're parents out there, if you have daughters, man, there's a vaccine for that. You can get a shot for HPV vaccine.
Oh, now we're back to the vaccine.
Well, no, I usually give men's health advice out here, but vaccine shit. But no, there's a vaccine for that, so to prevent it, because that's how actually women get cervical cancer is from getting HPV first, and at least we don't know that happens in guys. But so I'm guessing that's why she got so much money, because you know that there's a potential for that down the line. So not to put a fucking bummer on the story.
How do you guys feel about that?
I mean, that's just weird though. Like, I don't know how they prove.
Seriously, that's a look of let's just move on.
Yeah, I wanted to. We talked about the NBA championship. I mentioned it on the stream. I want to give a shout out to the Florida Everblades, the Kelly Cup champions this year, East Coast Hockey League. My old teammate Nathan Perkovich, the member of the team, old Warhorse. Congrats to them. Congrats to Edmonton Oil Kings on a WHL championship. The Hamilton.
Oh, okay. So that
Bulldogs,
Hamilton bar was rocking. They were down
Game 7. I think they won the OHL.
They were down 3-2 in that series, and the Hammer at Cops Coliseum was rocking. And it was cool. They had the hammer with the nail thing for when they beat their opponent.
Yeah, I
and
saw
they
that.
brought it on the ice.
When's the Mem Cup?
I think the Mem Cup started now.
It's in the queue.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know
It's
which
in the queue. So you got Hamilton from the O. You got the
teams.
Edmonton Oil Kings, who only lost one game after my little dance in the locker room. Not a big deal. I think that they lost Dylan Gunther, though.
Yeah, I did see that. Their big prospect.
Yeah, he's a Coyotes
prospect.
right? Yeah, the young gunner.
Another bad break for the Coyotes.
That's, of course, shocker. Fucking another blow to the organization. Fuck me.
So you know all those kids are listening. Good luck, Memorial Cup.
That's a big one.
We got the AHL Calder Cup finals. Chicago. Springy.
1-1.
James Neal's on Springfield. He's had
The
a
real
heck of a
deal?
playoff,
The real
apparently.
deal.
Wow,
Real deal.
Springfield.
So,
Also, too,
good luck to them.
I know they ended up getting knocked out, but Stockton, they're going back up to Alberta. They're moving the team. Their last 2 games, man, they won both games in overtime to keep their season alive. They ended up losing, but pretty good way for the team to go out. They're leaving Stockton. The last 2 games they won in overtime. Yeah, I mean, it sucks they're losing the team, but they went out with a pretty good bang.
Where are they going in Canada?
Calgary.
Calgary.
They're going to do both the AHL and NHL?
Yeah, it's so much
I
easier.
think, I mean, man. Like
That makes so much sense.
The only thing that
Money
sucks,
and-
though, is now you're taking away from the hitmen. So the OHL.
Yeah.
So there's always a trickle down, of course. There's a better ticket in town.
Yeah, you played in Stockton. I saw a crazy tweet where some kid that played there was trying to say when he arrived to sign there, they gave him a map of like the gang territory.
Yeah,
or
it's the
something.
word not to
Is
go.
that true?
Yeah, there's some rough areas.
It's a horrible, like there's a
not
ton
good.
of violence. It's not a
Really?
good spot that you'd
A lot of
want a
biker
ton of young
gangs.
kids running around having a good time at. Yeah.
Like the street that the rink's on is Corn Avenue, or is that Bakersfield?
I don't remember the name of the street,
I
but
think that
it's,
was Bakersfield. My bad.
yeah, it's
couldn't move
not
her
a
out of
good.
there.
So I mean, I think that from that perspective, it'll be good that they got out of there.
Maybe it is Stockton.
All right, last one here, Biz. I showed you the video before you started. I'm not sure if you guys saw it. We were talking, obviously, earlier this year about people bringing cats on the plane, and you experienced it, and you realized how miserable it was. Well, on this flight, the cat got loose, and the cat just on someone's back of their chair on the plane. People videoing it. It didn't attack anybody. It was just a cat. But, like, this is why you don't bring fucking animals on planes.
Well, you said your girl is allergic to them.
Absolutely.
To where if, like, she caught a hairball, it could kill her.
Well, I mean, yeah, we can play that for the show. No, like she's
Oh, I thought
very
you
allergic. No,
said,
she's very
no?
allergic. Where it's more than a nuisance. It's a pain in the ass. Like you get pet dander, you're fucking coughing, sneezing, hyperventilating, and it's not just her, anyone else in the plane. Keep the fucking animals underneath, or fly on animal-only flights. Once again,
There should be animal-only flights, which is
Absolutely.
kind of be
Doolittle
awesome.
Air.
What?
Doolittle Air.
do a little.
I'm starting Chiclets travel etiquette 101 or something.
Yeah.
I take all these problems away for you. All right.
You should
Absolutely.
Take
you should
over.
blog about it, given
Merle's
the
video
fact
of
that you're
the
traveling.
carts,
Yeah,
I
well,
was
you-
dying.
Yeah, I
Hey?
gave out that little
Yeah, you
tip
did
on the
give
free
that out,
carts.
yeah.
So what?
Travel.
The free
Give
card.
it
So
a travel tip.
The travel carts, they'll charge you $6. Put your luggage on them at like Newark Airport. But anywhere else in the world, most places, they're free. But the scam is, I did a video when I left Newark. You just go into the check-in. Instead of buying, like, take this 2-minute walk, go into the check-in. Everybody that's already checked their bags just dumps them. So you walk in, grab it, then just walk back outside to the sidewalk, load your bags.
$6
Save
cheat
$6.
code. And like the pain in the ass to do the transaction, whip out your
in
card.
there, and then you're struggling with the
whip
thing.
out-
It doesn't always come
and
out.
then you got one with the terrible wheel on it, and you're like, oh, fucking $6.
So that's a little travel tip I made. I should maybe do some more of those.
Actually, one more. Our buddy Stephen Che is going to be the fantasy football commissioner for Mike Trout's fantasy football league. You didn't hear about this?
Yeah, I remember the story. The
Yeah.
guy bitch slapping the guy from the league, and I can't believe that because Che's basically such a football nerd. What is his connection to that? Those guys are so serious that what's the guy's name? He slapped him in the outfield.
Yeah. What's his Tommy
Tommy
Pham?
Pham.
Yeah,
Tommy
Tommy
Pham.
Pham slapped. Who did he slap?
Pedersen?
Yeah,
Jock Peterson.
Jock Peterson.
Peterson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he said I think he
That
picked him.
Peterson was a fucking cartoon character through all that. That was one of the
The
funniest
way they
things.
were talking about
I thought it was
just-
parody.
I know.
I thought it was completely
But
fucking
10
around.
grand to get in, so big dough involved. But yeah,
I mean, not for that guy. That guy's probably made
I know. Oh my
100
God,
sheets
so
already.
much.
no, that's very true.
yeah.
That's very true.
I think they asked Dave to be in it, and Dave. They said they needed a commission. Dave's like, "Oh, I have the guy for you." So they appointed Stephen Che the commissioner of this, and I mean, Che's hilarious. He's like by
They'll
the
be
books. Like
suspending people and
they
stuff.
have no idea what they're going to be in for with this guy. So, anything else, boys? I think that's all we got here. Any final thoughts you want to add?
Tampa game 4.
Yeah, big one.
Tampa
Big one.
game 4.
Tomorrow night we'll be doing a live stream.
Shorzy, thanks for coming.
Here's
dude.
my
Yep.
here's my
Yeah, no problem. Thanks,
Barstool Bets gambling prediction. Game 4 is going to overtime.
Murley special.
Murley.
We
Yep.
have not had a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
No,
those.
we have.
Can I call the Murley special?
Yes.
It's really special.
Clip
plus
it.
300.
Draw. It'll be
Yeah.
plus 300,
Probably
plus
plus 300
350-ish.
roughly. Yeah.
If you look, if
I love
last
it.
year there was 84 Stanley Cup games and there was 26 overtime games. This year we've had now 86 games and only 14 overtimes.
Wow.
That's a
Yeah.
big
That's a
difference.
big
We're not
difference.
getting the overtimes this year like we were.
Game 4,
accustomed
Biz.
to.
I know.
I'm
I
with
feel
you
like
on that.
they need that.
And I will. The reason the Avs lost today, I was not drinking the Pink Whitney Nips, trying to
nips.
rally them for the goals. On Wednesday, I will be back on the Pink Whitney Nips for my team.
All right. Josie, thanks for joining us. Merle,
Thanks,
thanks
both
for
you
joining
guys.
us.
Thanks for having me.
Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow night in the live stream.
Peace.